72 black hearts are festering through Meager Valley, and there's only one team that can put an end to them. This is No Man's Land, Chapter 1, Never Forgotten. Now let's meet the three members of the team. You may recognise two from the Red Talon Cleaning Up the Nation team. Welcome Hastings and Stewart. But also Nichols, potentially a dark horse considering he's got a blank 5th skill. Our first mission, as you'd probably expect, is to find a new home, which may be harder than normal as zombie spawns are much greater, and I want to stay quiet seeing as there's also plenty of freaks around. I guess Hastings and Stewart didn't get the memo. Together we eliminate the rest of the horde, and by some miracle don't get swamped by blood ferals, which has got to be said, great success. So I hop the wall into our new home and start eliminating the undead. Thankfully it doesn't seem like there's an increased spawn here at least, so I crush every skull I can and claim the base as our own. I can then immediately start cleaning up the shit and head out to loot some supplies. You can usually find some valuable stuff in the beehives next door, but literally all I find is chemicals. I'm obviously not complaining, chemicals will be needed for the upgraded infirmary I'll be building. It's just funny how I found 3 different chemicals in 3 different beehives. In this little red garage I find a fuel resource, which I split open to pocket that fuel can, which means I can get the starter car up and running. If I could also find a toolkit, I'd be laughing. I also climb the billboard and have a scout about before making my way over to a nearby garage that should have building supplies. And would you look at that? It certainly does. Assuming you count a package of duct tape as building supplies. Which of course you would, why the hell wouldn't you? But the problem is, you see, I start to get greedy. I should have just dropped them at home and start building the infirmary. But I wanted to be efficient and only go home with a boot full of supplies. What a bloody moron. Also, fuck you, Screamer. Not only am I now injured, I've got friends inbound.
Oh my god, right, that is quite a lot of them, but good thing I brought mollies.
But in all honesty, that molly throw wasn't my best.
Issue. When in doubt, molly the problem.
When has setting things on fire ever caused a bigger issue? Never is the answer to that question.
Come on, there we go. Look at that, chat. Look at that. That's just what we call a professional gamer. That is how we do it.
Just a final few to clean up, then we can start searching the creepy garage. Very, very slowly for once. I get my building mats, this time a bundle of carpentry supplies, with oh so many knobs. Oh shit, I didn't realise you could get all the people who haven't left a like on this video into one rucksack. Better sort that out if you haven't done so already. Deciding I've taken enough damage, I head back with a little feral in chase. But not wanting to whip a gun out this close to home, I'm gonna have to use my second greatest weapon, my arse.
Ladies and gentlemen, the feral killer strikes again. Ba 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 bam.
I drop off my 2 sacks of building materials and start the build of the infirmary. And after waiting a very quick minute for it to build, I give Nichols a rest and take over as Hastings, who agrees to go chat to the scrappers to see what they need. But first, you gotta look after yourselves. Let's go collect some building materials from the warehouse nearby. My main priority right now is getting the infirmary upgraded to level 2, that way we can all start healing passively. I need another sack or 2 of building materials and a couple more chemicals. But first I gotta deal with a considerable amount of dickheads. Who doesn't love the smell of burning bloater guts in the morning? I take out the crowd, simple enough. I then enter the warehouse where I show off why I'm the greatest stealth player of all time. I'm like a fart in an elevator. You suspect I'm there from the smell, but you couldn't catch or see me even if you wanted to. I find a sack of building materials as well as high valuable cigarettes. Oh shit, I just realised how I like prison and the end of the world is. Everyone is after a shiv and are trading cigarettes for currency. I also search the military stash around the back and find an ammo resource as well as a sidearm. So I quickly head back to base to drop off all the loot. I then have a quick check to see my survivors are consuming 6 food a day. Well, that is way too much. Time to enact some rationing. I then head out on foot to do some looting around the local area, keeping things on foot to stay healthy and to lower my diesel bill. If Greta's still about, she'd be well impressed. I find a sack of coffee beans in the house across the street, but weirdly not in the kitchen. Who the hell keeps coffee in the living room? I then pop back to drop off all of my loot, and then we can finally make our way to the scrappers. And I'm just thinking, do you think they're called the scrappers because they're really into recycling or fighting? Let me know what you think in the comment section. Either way, I get to their home, but my loud engine may have attracted the locals. But before they cause a bigger issue, I run in and give them the plague samples they're after. As usual, to say thank you, they give me some fuel supplies. But I'm not done yet. I want to see exactly what they have worth trading. Unfortunately, they're in the middle of a little scrap. I guess we have the answer to the earlier question.
It's okay to burn your friends. Oh my god, that's quite a lot of them. Ah, no, get away from me.
Once the flames dissipate, I go in and gunslinger some faces off, but it's not enough, so I revert back to type.
We're going back on fire.
But it doesn't matter what I do, it seems the crowds will just keep growing. I think this is going to become an issue long term.
Effectively though, right, all I'm doing right now is helping them farm plague samples, which is exactly what they wanted, right?
That is the plus side of using the version 2 mod. You'll never run low on plague samples.
Quite a lot of them on that side. Jesus Christ, they just keep coming.
Like 14-year-old me after I discovered my penis. Sorry, I was a late bloomer.
I'm going in stealthy, and I'm going to take them from the rear. Oh, look at that. That was good. That was good.
Unfortunately, they've all stormed through the bay window.
I guess I'll just burn your house down for the 3rd time.
I eliminate the final Z, then go into trade.
Oh, look, they've got a toolkit. I need the toolkit.
Other than the toolkit, there's nothing really worth having at the moment. But I'd say fighting all those hordes was worth it just for the one toolkit. At least now I don't have to worry about bursting into flames every time I go around a corner. Then for the first time, I make my way into plague territory, which is basically the entire map in this mod. Surprisingly, I managed to avoid the crowds and safely climb the nearby billboard to do a bit of scouting. And rather surprisingly, there's only 2 arts in this area. But most importantly, there's a barbecue restaurant just outside of plague territory. You can probably work out exactly what we gotta do. Ouch, that's gonna hurt the ankles. I drive over to the restaurant, but we're now situated between 2 hordes. And one of them have partnered up with a feral, who I let hitch a ride.
Because now I can do that, and he... Oh, yeah, yes, I can. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no.
And this is why you always wear a seatbelt.
Perfectly under control. I have things under control. It is absolutely fine.
Glad that's taken care of.
Yeah, me too.
I then turn the restaurant into an outpost, and obviously loot the place. That smoke bomb will definitely come in handy. But a plague heart is now awake and sending wandering hordes towards us.
I'm gonna have to defend my outpost.
I load up with frags thanks to the warlord boom. Unfortunately, I don't have enough fuel resources to activate my outpost defenses. Well, technically I do, but they're in the back of my car. So we're doing this the old-fashioned way. I start by trying to lob a molly into an exploded bloater, but before I can send it, I gotta dodge a feral attack. I manage to move the feral's armor before dodging another plague zombie, then toss a molly behind me to try and slow the flow of the crowds. And one more barrel roll forward gives me the space I need to give the final headshot to the feral.
Right, you fuck off over that way.
After dropping my flammable, it's mainly the armored zombies that are left. So we do what we gotta do. We do the 3 B's of battle. Barrel rolls, beatdowns, and blasting.
Yes. When in doubt, just obliterate everything that moves.
So after I've eliminated the wandering horde's threat, I head back to base to unload the fuel resources I've picked up along my travels. I unload the loot, then activate the mines. Now we have a really good safe space around our outpost. And seeing as Stuart has the demolition skill, these mines will be activated for 3 hours instead of the usual 1.5. Which means we have plenty of time to loot the immediate area for all of its resources.
Look at it, look at it, look at it. Isn't it a thing of beauty?
And this isn't gamer advice, but always reverse your car into the bay. That way you don't have to worry about reversing out blind. I can then search the tartan mart completely safe, although I don't find any more food resources. Just 9mm rounds apparently. The mine defenses turn out to be a brilliant way to farm plague samples, seeing as the hordes are so large. They often wander in without me even attracting them, which I also do as well because that shit is hilarious, even when I singe an eyebrow. I then spend the rest of the night looting the garden centre, the petrol station, the chemical thing, obviously taking breaks whenever I need to listen to some banging rock music and to enjoy the fireworks.
Look at that. Oh shit. This is a fantastic way of farming plague samples. I got so many plague samples from that. That's actually really impressive.
I also search the grocery store across the road and the medical centre next door. And whenever I get into a spot of trouble I simply can't handle with my fists, well, technically my hammer/knife, I just run back to my landmines and let them deal with the problem.
Yes, that's what I like to see. Everybody follow me now.
After the full night of looting, we've got plenty of resources, and I've even got enough chemicals to upgrade the infirmary to level 2. Now we can recover health massively, and Hastings being knackered, I take over as Stuart, then realise my issue. I've used up all of the bloody building materials. All I need is 1 sack just to prevent the infirmary from breaking down. So firstly I head back to the warehouse we looted earlier and make it our second outpost. Now we are gaining 1 building mat a day. This should be enough to prevent breakdown, but just in case I want 1 additional sack just to be safe. I know of 2 unfinished houses fairly nearby that will have everything I need, but seeing as 1 is heavily infested I decide to go a different route. But don't get it twisted, this is still a very dangerous mission. We're heading towards a Dewey's Hardware deep into plague territory, but in all honesty I didn't know how deep into plague territory I was going.
Oh my lord. There's 5 plague hearts per year? What the shit?
Well, this mission just become a lot more dangerous. It's too dark and I'm not well equipped enough to be taking on plague hearts, especially 5 black ones in a row. I make a start by scouting the area from the billboard nearby, and then it's time to get to sneaking. The last thing I want to do is wake up another heart and make our growing infestation problem even bigger. So remaining stealthy is the optimum strat. I enter the hardware store and start searching very slowly. In the first container I find absinthe. In the second I find loads of shit, none of which I need. In the third I find a molly and some seeds, which will definitely come in handy, but is not what I'm looking for. So that leaves my 4th and final container. For fuck's sake. Well, this has been a massive, dangerous waste of time. It's probably for the best to get out of here. So with the sun rising and the stench of failure on our breath, we make our way back to base. Seeing as there's 72 plague hearts, we've got to get cracking and use the most of the daylight as possible. But seeing as this will be my first black heart since the curveball's beta, I'm not sure exactly how best to prepare. I figure I should be safe with enough artillery to overthrow a third world government. If we struggle to take down this heart with everything we're packing, we could be in some serious trouble. And for once, I'm not talking about my driving.
Not a great start, is it?
And with the car right side up, I make my way over to the first play cart. Knowing things could get very explosive, I make sure to park the car a good distance away, but still close enough that I can climb onto if I need it. I thought this would be a great heart to start with, seeing as there's a convenient platform I can stand on and shoot it through the window. I'm also pretty sure I'm high enough to avoid any bloater clouds. Okay, so let's get shit started with 3350 cal rounds. It takes 2750 cal ammo and over 1 minute 15 seconds, and that's just the first phase.
Okay, right, we got a first phase.
And seeing as we now have crowds piling through the window to, well, I don't know, defend it or something, I toss my first molly to burn them all up. At the very least, it's very pretty. I then put the last few 50 cal rounds into it, and after re-equipping my Stormbringer, it's time to go for a little run. I headbutt my way through a window, hoping the crowds will follow, and lob a remote grenade before running in to try and hit it. Well, that didn't go to plan. Seeing as the crowds are already getting too much, I dip out and detonate the explosives, and dash back to my car to allow my stamina to regain. And once Stuart has caught her breath, we get ready to go back in. And hopefully this time we can use the explosives to clear more of the crowd. I dip into the corner and start smacking shit just as zombies are piling through the window. And I barrel roll my way through all their legs to try and drop some explosives.
Well, that should have at least killed some bloody zombies at least.
It certainly did, but I'd say nowhere near enough. And while it's just me and it, I get some power swings into it. Then as the crowds start to reappear, I start rolling about to allow the maximum capacity in the room before I drop a molly.
And we're going fire.
I then exit the front, closing the door behind me to allow the maximum amount of burnage. In theory, at least. I then burst back through and start whacking the shit out of the playcart. Without a doubt, need a heavy weapon to be dealing with this. The last 3 Zeds enter the room, so I blast them with the rifle, and finally get some good one-on-one time with the playcart. High on a copious amount of caffeine, over the next minute I repeatedly batter the heart and a few more Zeds that have decided to turn up. And that finally completes the second phase. I still have to repeat this process another time, and that would just be 1 out of 72 playcarts. I think I might need a better strategy long term. The cloud is still active and a few Zeds have come through the window, so I drop another frag. But that might have been a mistake as it's attracted another nearby horde. So I run back inside and start hitting it again, in the hope I can get them all in the same room and blow them up with 1 frag. In the end, I throw myself out of the window and toss an explosive behind me. And while that does a decent job of clearing the room, there's still some stragglers outside I've got to handle. I can say for certain the one thing I've learned is it's so much easier to be silent. But with the final zombie taken care of and caffeine still coursing through my veins, I go back inside and start power hitting the bitch, even if I am ankle deep in zombies right now. I repeat the same strat I used for the second phase, but this time only managed to beat the shit out of it for 30 seconds before a screamer turns up. And seeing it's one of those squirty ones, I throw myself out of the window and shoot it from safety. Then it's back to beating the thing with my heavy weapon. But unfortunately that won't be for long, as the screamer and gunshot have attracted more knobheads. As they start to gather, I drop another frag and dip, but that's only enough to clear the first wave. There's plenty more piling through that window. I toss 1 final frag and dip out the front, and thankfully that's enough.
Oh, we got it! Holy shit!
Not only was that insanely tough, but it also used up a lot of resources. Even without explosives, that was a lot of stamina items. And there's another 71 of these things I've got to eliminate. And the only freak we had spawn was actually a screamer. It's fair to say things are going to get pretty crazy as we increase our standing. I then finish off the last of the knobheads that have gathered, because I want to be able to loot this big bitch. Alright, so nothing to shout about, but free loot is free loot. Assuming you count spending the last 15 minutes the way I have, as cost free. I make my way back to base and unload, then notice a siege site building nearby. A level 1 siege site that turns into a level 2 just as I get there. Great. But that doesn't worry me, 1 firebomb sorts that right out. Get wrecked, you bitch. But hang on a second, level 2 siege sites usually have ferals in, don't they? Yes, they do. I collect the ammo the feral dropped, then head inside the shed to see if there's anything else zombies could have dropped.
Oh god, no, just a bloater, Don't worry about the bloater. My lord, that's a lot of zombies. Holy shit.
I get in the car to make my escape, but not very far, as I want to see if the enclave next door have any building materials for sale.
Yes, I know I have just sort of dragged multiple hordes to your home. Do you think I could... Nope, you don't want to talk to me?
But sadly, they're not in the mood for business dealings.
You're on your own there, love. You're on your own.
But hey, don't look at me like I'm the bad guy. I just mowed down like 30% of the horde that I attracted. I start climbing a billboard nearby just as the bullet benefactor curveball activates, which is really handy considering how much ammo I need to take down playcarts right now. I then come up with the genius plan of collecting building materials for one of these unfinished houses. One of them's infested with juggernauts and ferals, and the other is right next door to the one that's infested with juggernauts and ferals. So overall this is a lose-lose situation, but when needs must, you gotta make sacrifices. And for once I just hope I'm not sacrificing human lives. There's a couple of zombs in the unfinished house, and I'm gonna have to deal with them quieter than silent repellent if I don't want to have to deal with that infestation. On second thoughts, I think it might already be too late.
Okay. Oh, Jesus!
Oh yeah, I'd say it's definitely too late. I tried to escape, but the bastard tackles me for the second time, and my plague meter just keeps ticking up. I managed to put some distance between me and the smackhead, then Gunslinger can deal with the little prick's armor. But that much unsuppressed gunfire near that infestation is only going to lead to trouble. It looks like I'm going back to sneaking about to try and outsmart them. Or I could just toss a firebomb into the crowd and hope the flames do the work for me. Different strats for different twats.
I mean, I don't know what I was thinking, I'll be honest.
But that sums up like 85% of all of your plans.
Come on, spread. Let the fire spread. That's the way.
And that sums up the other 15%. I managed to confuse the rest by running through some gardens and hopping some fences, and I find exactly what I'm after in the first container I search. And I'm almost certain there would be a second in here somewhere, but maybe it's best not to get greedy.
Where did he come from? Oh my god, there's another juggernaut. What the fuck?
So I sprint back to my car and drive away.
Oof. Well, that was quite a dangerous mission, but I do feel that we should be taking on another play cart.
Which is exactly what I'm gonna do. First, I collect the supply crate the bullet benefactor left, all things I'm sure I can put to good use. Then I head to the ammo shop just around the corner from base and turn it into my third outpost. But at that point, it's time to give Stuart the rest, so I swap to Hastings. And this little blonde bombshell is about to take on 2 black hearts. I grab as much equipment as I suspect I'll need, then make our way over to the scene of battle. The reason I'm trying to claim hearts on this side of the map is because I want the brewery just up the road as my next base. So high on ketamine, I charge into the belly of the beast and start battering the bitch like it's dating Jonathan Majors. And my strat here is just to hit it as many times and as powerfully as possible, but unfortunately I get bit from my blind spot. I'd say that's probably a pretty shit start. So once he's beaten off to completion, I drop a rocket pod and retreat. You get these from the Red Talon Prestige Trader, and one of Hastings or Stuart had them in their inventory when I pulled them out of the legacy pool. And while they won't do a lot of damage to the heart, they'll do a really good job of making sure there's nothing else alive in that barn. And with everything cleared, I run in and start battering it, and this time the phase comes much quicker. It's almost as if the 50 cal is not the way to go on this thing. Have a molly, you prick. In comparison to the first heart, I've been proper stealthy, but even so, hordes have been attracted to our location. It's almost as if the rocket pods I set off were super loud or something. Nah, that can't be right. I tell you what, I'll just drop another to be safe. And with them going off nowhere near the heart, I need to do everything I can to filter the hordes through those explosions for maximum impact. And the best way to do that is with multiple roly-polies. As I come around the backside of the barn, I spot a screamer and take him out. The last thing I want is him calling more mates, especially when we're doing such a good job of being stealthy. I then go in and batter it for another 30 seconds, doing my best to take out all the stragglers that have turned up late. And that's when I spot a bloater charging towards me. But unfortunately, the fucker can't hold his load and blows too soon. Can't relate. I toss a napalm grenade, but the explosion just confirms what I already knew. The cloud was not close enough. I then heavy hit it for another minute until it starts to phase.
Oh, no, 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 no.
Remember, the gas cloud is bigger and can set you on fire if you're not quick enough. But to be honest, I probably should have been more worried about my own actions. When will I ever learn? I continuously fight off the hordes while the gases spew out of the heart. But as more and more approach me, it's clear I can't take them all on in hand-to-hand combat.
I am gonna napalm. Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, I'm about to get burst on flames.
I managed to avoid burning myself and another bloater burst into flames, but nowhere where they could do any proper damage.
That should at least eliminate all the zombies.
Well, maybe not quite all of them, but it certainly did a bloody good job. And once they're all dead, I go back in and start hitting it again, very conscious about how close I am to infection. I'm basically a Plague Z sneeze away from becoming very unwell. So as I'm sure you can imagine, the last thing I want to see is another bloody horde coming towards me. So I drop more frags to eliminate the threat, even if that does cover me in zombie guts. Shame that doesn't work like scent block, eh? But they still continue to come, so I drop another frag.
Frag it out, frag it out, frag it out.
I get warned that a feral's in the area just as the explosion goes off.
Great, feral, where's the feral?
I stand my ground, keep my cool, and 4 headshots gets the job done. I'm sure there's plenty of people out there who could have got the job done in 3, but there's nothing wrong with a cheeky double tap. I'm grateful to say a final 20 seconds of battering gets the job done.
Yes! Jesus!
I have plenty of time to loot it and immediately use that first aid kit. That may have sorted out my health problems, but I'm still a fly's dick away from infection. But thankfully I've been collecting plague samples like the Pokemon cards, so I head back home and use the infirmary to activate infection therapy. That'll eliminate my partial infection for just 3 plague samples. Simply put, that's probably going to be the way I survive this playthrough. As I'm sure you can imagine, at this point I'm starting to run low on supplies. Most worryingly is my lack of stamina items, so I grab my final 5 stims and 2 stacks of grenades and head back out into the field. I climb the billboard across from the base I want and do a little bit of scouting about. The base is still still threatened by 2 hearts, 2 awake and 2 asleep. The 2 awake are south of us, the 2 asleep are north. Well, it would make sense to take on the awake ones to help prevent the spread of infestation. So I head into the fire station to have a little scope about. In all honesty, my hope here was that it was in a place I could block off with my car and I could get a cheap victory. If only I was that lucky. After eliminating the fuse heads inside, I find the heart in the gents' bathroom. And seeing as there's no obvious cheesy strat, just start beating the bloody thing. But it doesn't take very long at all for the crowds to catch up to me. So I drop a frag and roly-poly out of the room, as I'll have more room to fight whatever is left over from the explosion. But while I'm fighting them all off, there's one thing I ever noticed that could be my downfall. A bloater is approaching. I try entering back into the room to get more hits off, but the crowds are simply too much, so I'm gonna have to whip out the gun. The one thing I've noticed about this mod is bullets are better left for the undead, and it's so much more beneficial to attack hearts with a heavy weapon. That's when it happens.
Oh my god. Oh my god, no, no, no! Shit! I can't move! If I move... Wait! Hang on! Oh my god! This is mental! Right, well... Oh my god, it's dead!
No idea how to explain that, we need an action replay.
Oh my god, no, no, no!
I managed to shoot the bloater before it gets too close, but its cloud is blocking my only exit.
I can't move!
At the same time, the plague heart starts phasing, and a second bloater comes around the corner. The fire from the heart ignites the bloater, making room for my escape, and I can roly-poly my way out, surprisingly not in a life-threatening condition.
Right, well... Oh my god, it's dead! It's dead!
If anyone has a better explanation, please let me know in the comment section. The only thing confusing me is why the plague heart started phasing so quickly. Then I get surprised attack by a bitch hiding out in a room.
Oh, you twat!
Simply refusing to die, Hastings throws herself out of the window and over the wall. She can then inject the cure, thank fuck I brought 2. I decide against trying to loot it, seeing how dangerous that room is right now, and instead make our way to the next heart. Sadly, this isn't one of those barns that allow me to use a cheese strat, so after leaving my car a safe distance away from explosive damage, I once again run in and start battering it high on Adderall. Gratefully, this area is much quieter, and I'm able to get the first phase completed in just 30 seconds of heavy hits.
Okay, no.
Then while the heart is phasing, I take on the hordes that are coming completely hand to hand. For once, I'm trying to be quiet to not attract any more trouble.
We're trying to stay silent, so I'm not using guns. I know, it's a new thing I'm trying out.
Although the hordes that are coming seem to be a bit too big to take on with one woman and her metal stick, so it's back to fragging.
I think that really hurt it.
Yeah, probably, mate. Probably.
After looping around, I go back to the smack and roll tactic. Then once the crowds are big enough, I drop a frag. Obviously, mollies would be better, but you gotta use what you've got. I then use gunslinger to finish off the rest. Then 20 seconds of repeated heavy hits before I gotta dodge out and take out any knobheads who've been attracted. That strat gets repeated twice before we complete the second phase. With the sun nearly set, I feel slightly rushed, so try going full auto with the Stormbringer. That was arguably a terrible decision. More and more zombies are heading to my location, and Hastings has decided she needs a nap. I do some roly-polies back through the barn, not realising the gas is still active, but also drop a frag behind me to help clear out some of those hordes. But there's still so many about, it's actually kind of ridiculous. I spot a bloater on his way and try to coax him inside, but the only thing I've got that could possibly ignite him is frag grenades, and I'm not even sure if that's possible. The bloater makes its way into the barn as I dodge through all the crowds.
Come on, bloater's gonna pop,
So I drop a frag grenade, but it's nowhere near the bloater. It trips and falls over nowhere near the blast radius, so I'm forced to throw another. It might have done no damage on the play card, but it certainly cleared the barn and allowed me to get back into it. Then finally, after another 50 seconds of battering and dodging stragglers,
come on! You're so teasing! Oh my god.
I can then quickly collect the loot and finally get the bloody hell out of here. Still need to take out another 2 hearts before the base I want is safe, but that shit can wait till daytime. I finally get back home and unload my spoils of war, but something seems off with the community. I speak to Nichols, who tells me he's getting sick, but not with blood plague, a bloody cold. And that is thanks to the under the weather curveball. With a high chance of failing a fast search, something I'm particularly known for, we also get poor firearm handling and a lower efficiency from stimulants. This bug going around already has the potential to cause massive problems to our 3 heroes. Well, it's a bloody good thing 2 of which are members of the Red Talon cleaning up the nation team. Ah, for fuck's sake. Alright, it's fine. Look, it's not ideal. Nichols might not be a gunslinging badass like our lady friends, but he's still more than capable of delivering some medical supplies to sort out this illness. There's a small selection of 3 houses near base I'm yet to search, and one of them likely contains medical supplies. So after the obligatory J-turn, and dealing with a feral that has a thing for my rear end, I enter the nearby garage and find a sack of fuel supplies. Obviously not what I'm after, after right now, but I need plenty of fuel to keep my outpost defenses running strong. And you might notice the horde that's attacking me currently are also crafted from a curveball. This time it's zombie burnout. They might be weak to my melee attacks, but they hit harder as a result, which is easy, I'll just avoid getting hit.
Oh, no, Jesus.
Also a tactical misplay on my behalf, giving Nichols a heavy weapon here, especially when he has the skill swordsplay. After waiting for my stamina to regain while stood on a nearby car, I can then fully deal with our glass cannon fiends, all while not taking a single smidge of damage. Perhaps Nichols is actually our chosen one.
Disgusting. Oh, God. Oh, shit. I managed to avoid the first one.
With another 2 dickheads taken care of, I find ourselves some medical supplies. Thank fuck for that. Just what I need to sort out this illness. So I go back to base and deposit the meds.
I get a couple more. I'll go get a couple more? What do you mean you go get a couple more?
Yeah, so apparently I need a couple more sacks to sort out this illness. Jesus Christ, what kind of illness do these bastards have? Last time I needed this many meds, I'd spent the night with my ex-girlfriend. Never before has the term antibiotic resistance been more applicable. To see if it's a glitch, I try pulling the sack out and putting it back in like I'm Jay from the In-Betweeners, but it unfortunately has no effect on the curveball. So instead I'm like, fuck it, and put out a second sack, because some friends of ours are also seeking medical supplies. And once I've given them the meds, they should become allied and allow me to recruit one of them for free. And seeing as I need an extra 3 people to move into the base I'm after, I would say this is a good use of the meds. Unlike the meds I got after my last visit to my ex-girlfriend, of course. So I make my way over to the scrappers, ignoring the second siege site that has formed. My current siege defense plan is to simply move before it becomes an issue. I rock up to the scrappers place surrounded by 2 hordes, so it's looking like Nichols is gonna have to fight for his life if he wants to help recruit some new blood. Thankfully our boy has a mean swing on him. Well, technically it's the zombie's weakness to melee, but let's not dent the bloke's confidence, is it? With my horde dealt with, I head around the back to see how the lads are getting on. Not well, it seems. So I do what I gotta do in order to help.
Yeah, this is risky. But it worked. Can't say it didn't work. Definitely worked.
But the thing with frag grenades is they tend to be a little loud.
We have, bigger problems now.
I try giving them the supplies, but they're all giving me the silent treatment, so I head back outside where shit is well and truly kicking off. These guys are on the verge of allied status. It's crucial that I keep them all alive if I want to recruit them and move to a base sooner rather than later. But Nichols is also one unfit lad, so I do what anyone would do in this situation. Perform vehicular manslaughter, or zomslaughter to be more precise.
Use the arse of the car. As long as there's no bloaters, I am living life right there.
And living life right now is what I certainly do.
Okay, I think I might have run over my friend.
After a few more rounds of weaponizing my rear end and an unfortunate lunge.
Oh god, yeah, bit. Bad time to crouch there.
We take out the last of the zombs. I make sure to collect all the nearby plague samples, then give the medical supplies to our friend this dickhead. With them now allied, I get to choose who I'd like to recruit. We have Norbert, the cardiovascular god with room to learn new skills. Our mate Mike, who's nearly dead but knows her way around a heavy tool. Could definitely be useful. And last but not least, Rachel, another nearly dead who's a massive fan of cooking up substances, but not much experience elsewhere. But before we make our decision, I buy back the med sack for less than I got for giving it to them, and also those toolkits. I then make the decision to recruit Rachel, which I might regret instantly.
A blood plague victim? No. Give a cure. It's the only cure I've got.
Thankfully, she's happy to ram a random needle a bloke she barely knows just gave her straight into her neck. You know what? I think she's gonna fit right in. I then decide to give her a lift back to base so she doesn't get eviscerated by that siege site. Once we get back, I transfer the med supplies, and it seems we only need one more to sort out this pissing curveball. So it looks like it's time for Nichols to go on a dangerous mission. According to my map, there's a ransacked clinic that should have what I need, but it's a building with a plague cart in. And it's also surrounded by another 4, but I'm sure that won't be an issue, right? I decide to try and play it safe by parking the car across the road from my destination, and that ends up with me doing reverse donuts to try and get a dickhead off my bonnet.
Bad zombie.
And because loud engine attracts dickheads, I've got to do a little bit more of tidy up. I guess I'm gonna have to use one of those toolkits sooner than I expected. Leaving the car behind, I climb the nearby billboard and feast my eyes over a problem we're gonna have to solve at some point. That's 5 plague carts within shitting distance of each other, but that's a problem for future me to worry about. For now, I need a good case of medical supplies. And I really don't get why people keep telling me I gotta be stealthy in this game. It's clearly not good for my health. Arched back and strain on the knees, this shit is a health and safety nightmare. Anyway, I discover the back door to the clinic is locked, and unfortunately I've got to take out a zombie that spotted me, which riles up the dickheads in the clinic. So at this point, my best bet is just to go for it. I briefly consider fighting them, but decide that's a bad play, and instead run out the front to try and lure them all away. And surprisingly, this plan works out flawlessly. Alright, well maybe not flawlessly, but at least I'm not currently being ripped to shreds by a juggernaut. It's called optimism, maybe you should try it once in a while. Anyway, it's time for one of my tactical master plans. Firstly, I toss one of my frag grenades behind me, so that'll lure all the hordes to that location. I then fucking leg it, breaking the line of sight, and put as many obstacles between me and the zombies chasing me. That certainly seems to have worked, seeing as there's nothing chasing me, but oh no, they're just chilling in that bloody clinic. It looks like I'm gonna need a new plan. Oh wait, hang on, no, zombies coming out.
Apparently they're blind.
Okay, great, that's made things surprisingly much easier. Especially as after the mini-map zooms in, you can see all the deads are actually outside. Which means I can perfectly safely search the clinic and pocket myself some medical supplies. And you know what, that looting went so well, I'm actually going to search this restaurant across the road and actually bring home an extra sack of food supplies. Providing that feral doesn't cause me any issues, of course.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
Notice the genius decision to get in the back. That way he assaults my back doors and on my drive. Oh, for fuck's sake, man. This inevitably ends with me getting ripped out by the crackhead, but thankfully I can make my escape before I get fully disemboweled. After taking refuge on the car, I take out the crackhead with a perfect 3-part headshot. I have to very quickly get the fuck out to avoid the oncoming hordes. Well, that was very much squeaky bum time, but gratefully I get back in one piece and deposit the supplies, which gratefully puts an end to that bloody curveball. Then after checking Nichols into the infirmary, I take control of Stuart. And Stuart's mission is simple enough. Chat to some former medical professionals so we can get some reliable bloody healthcare. If only if it was that simple to do in real life, am I right? Bloody political scumbags. So as the sun rises, I make my way to the Bonesaws, who have set up base in the very heart of plague territory. There's literally a plague heart right next door, boys. What the fuck are you doing, like? But as long as I'm quiet and quick, 2 things my missus tells me I'm great at, I should be able to do the quest with no problems whatsoever. Who the fuck are these dickheads? The raiders are attacking. Well, that kinda nullifies my quick and quiet approach. Thankfully, Stuart has zero concerns about spilling human blood. If this game had friendly fire, she'd have taken out 2/3 of the Bonesaws right there and then. And given how ever-present the hordes in this mod are, my unsuppressed Stormbringer certainly draws plenty of unwanted attention. Like, oh so much bloody attention. If only I had a molly on me. I dash outside and try to draw them away, as I can't let them die before I get the influence for fighting off them hostiles. Stuart hits them with a cheeky 1-2 dodge combo, and after much pushing, stabbing and battering, and I suppose the occasional stamp on the face, Stuart pretty much single-handedly clears the horde. She then chats to their leader, Sonny Jim, who's like, "Aye, soundbud, thanks for saving our bacon and that." They've even sorted me out with a sack of medical supplies. Could have done with them half an hour ago, but better late than never, I suppose. And of course I use my degree in apocalyptic economics to loot the corpses we just made and sell everything back to the Bonesaws, with an increased price thanks to my first positive curveball. Gotta love the finer things in life, am I right? Oh yes, gotta love the finer things, like screwdrivers and broken handguns. I need 1500 influence to claim the brewery base, so I'd say this has certainly come at the right time. Then, seeing as we've come all this way and not wanting to waste fuel, I decide to do them a second favour and take out the plague heart next door. But not before I unload that heavy sack of meds. Although, to be honest, that's a bit disingenuous of me, as I need to take down this heart to claim the base I'm after, and the fact that they're right next door, I could possibly use them as a distraction. But don't worry, I'm sure they'll be fine. Nothing bad ever happens to NPCs, especially while I'm around. I'm like the NPC messiah, and once I've made the neighbourhood a little bit safer, I head on in and start battering the big bitch. I get 4 or 5 heavy hits on it before the crowds start to show up.
There's a feral coming, and the back door is open.
And the one thing you should never do around ferals is leave your back door open. Those bastards will take advantage.
Oh! Yes! Oh, we killed the feral. I don't know how I managed that.
But at this point, the cat is well and truly out of the bag.
There's a horde on its way.
As they breach through my rear, I realise it's time for a tactical retreat. But not before dropping a frag. I drop a second, which basically deals with the horde. Then I can loop back around and continue my heavy assault, which gratefully completes the first phase.
Oh, nice. No, I'm stuck. No, I'm not. I'm on fire.
And as if that wasn't hard enough.
Oh god. Right, more ferals.
Me and everyone's least favourite crackhead go toe-to-toe, each leaving a significant amount of damage on the other. But ultimately, Stuart is simply built different. I loop back around the second heart, you know, the one I'm not fighting, and get back to the scene of my assault.
Oh my god, why are they upstairs? How are they floating? We got flying zombies. How am I supposed to compete with that, chat?
Against my new adversaries, I keep a stealthy approach. Well, at least I attempt to. Then after a couple of successful face stomps, I head back inside, making sure to shut all 3 doors. They might still be able to smash them down and come through windows, but if I can slow them down by even half a second, I'll bloody take it. I continue battering with a heavy weapon, and it seems, for now at least, zombies are leaving me alone. Albeit I can hear something making noises outside. And being the inquisitive twat I am, I decide to go and investigate.
Oh god.
What ensues is another epic roly-poly battle. He leaves his mark on me, but I obliterate him with my assault rifle.
Gotcha, motherfucker.
And seeing as my unsuppressed gunfire has once again attracted an unhealthy amount of attention, I decide I need a bit of backup. But I simply refuse to pay for it. But not from any sense of morality, I'm just a massive cheapskate.
I'm sorry guys, but I'm assuming they'll be alright.
I quickly dash to the other side of the house so the hordes have to literally go through the Bonesaws to get to me. Don't worry, I'm sure they'll be able to handle it.
Well look, I am kind of helping.
I then sneak around the back of their garden garden, and go back to battering the heart, successfully completing the second phase. And this time I don't even set myself on fire. I do a bit of tidy up around the back while I wait for the gases to dissipate. Meanwhile, the bone souls seem to be enjoying themselves.
Bone souls are sort of dealing with the horde next door.
But it seems my placard assault has only gone and drawn more hordes.
I'm sorry to do this, bone souls.
The thing is, they're handling the previous horde so well, what's an extra 20 zombies on top of that? Okay, 20 zombies and a feral, but the feral wasn't even my fault. He literally came from their side of the fence line, you know, nothing to do with me whatsoever. But look, I'm always happy to help, so how about I take down the feral and we'll call it even.
If I can kill the feral this side, that will lead all the hordes this way, in my head anyway.
But unfortunately, we don't get that far.
Oh, hang on, the bone souls are gone. Oh, bollocks.
Can I get an RIP for the bone souls in the comment section? They fought valiantly and taught us all a valuable lesson. Don't hire doctors to do your fighting for you. But without them as a distraction, we now have a much more serious problem. How the fuck are we gonna deal with these dickheads? I start by heading west further away from the placard, then blasting the absolute shit out of the feral with my unsuppressed assault rifle.
Now all the zombies know exactly where I am too.
So while the hordes make their way to my location, I decide to quickly search this collapsing shed and find the greatest gift I could find.
Oh, Molly, 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 Molly!
Ba-na-na-na-na-na. With the correct application, this could be the way I deal with all those zombies. I just need to bide my time. So I go back in and assault the heart, although this time much slower as I'm completely out of stamina items. I continue to batter away, but the heart is calling all the hordes nearby. The back door bursts open and I decide this is my time. I toss the molly into the crowd and dodge my way out of the door, only slightly singeing an eyebrow in the process. I regain my stamina on a car nearby, but I'm sad to admit that molly simply wasn't enough. In my desperation, I turn to a tactic I didn't want to do. Full auto, baby!
Don't know why I tried that, but it is what it is.
But the crowds are simply too much and my ammo supplies are simply too little. So it's time to go back to vehicular slaughter, baby. This surprisingly goes very well and I didn't even lose the car in the process. Although it does seem I run down one of the reanimated corpses of the bone souls. May they rest in pieces. And with the majority of the crowds dealt with, I can pretty simply finish off the placard. I get plenty of time to loot it, then make our way back to base. And if you ever want to see any of the strats I've used so far in this series in more detail, there's a playlist on the channel called Live Streams where you can find all of my VODs. I'll leave it linked in the description for you. I get back and load and remove Stuart's partial infection with infection therapy. Then after a quick stock up of resources, it's time to get back on the road to deal with more placards. This is the final one I need to take out before I can claim the brewery. All I'll need then is the 1500 influence and the 2 extra people. If only I had another enclave on the verge of allied status. I park up and loot the nearby military truck before starting my attack. First I pop smoke for cover before starting beating the thing with my drive shaft. Unfortunately I can't quite pull this off as zombies keep getting in the way of my swings.
Trying to fight the heart, not the zombies. This looks cool though.
So the smoke fades before I can do any real damage, then I revert to my usual strat.
Line him up.
I drop the Molotov and the entire room engulfs in flames. Myself included, of course. But fire is probably your best weapon against this many Zeds. It'll spread amongst them and ignoring the shrieks as their skin dissolves from the intense heat of burning petrol. It's actually pretty quiet. Then with Stuart shin deep in burned corpses, we get the smack in the placard. But with no one in the area to contest her assault, she happily completes the first phase and doesn't even set herself on fire in the process. That's what I'd call finally learning my lesson. It's so great to finally grow as a human being. Alright, yeah, then I just walk straight into the fucking gas. What a moron. And then another feral decides he wants to play a game, but with snacks being my only stamina items, I'm not getting in a roly-poly battle with this prick. Go fuck yourself, you crackhead. Maybe next time you'll evolve to be able to climb up a small ledge. But once again, that gunfight may have attracted 1 or 2 dickheads. Oh, but you should use the suppressor. They're dead quiet and that, innit? Oh, piss off, you bellend. Suppressors do next to fuck all in this difficulty. It's like trying to hide the sounds of your parents shagging next door with a bloody tickle me Elmo. And yes, I'm also in a very precarious situation right now. But would you believe me if I said this was all part of my plan? With the right timing, I managed to hit the heart and keep off the hordes, as I'm crammed in a tight space and they continue to pile into the kitchen. And also dodging through the crowds will temporarily stun them.
You know what? I think it's time. Burn, baby, burn.
The plan works almost flawlessly. By the time I re-enter the house around the back, all the corpses have burnt up and there's just a couple of stragglers outside. And with that, I can complete the second phase just as they catch up to me. But by delaying my retreat half a second, that allows the flammable gases to ignite on the zombs, which they do technically pass on to me. But hey, that potentially might save me a molly. Climbing on the car outside, I notice there's a bloater in that building. And if I could ignite him right next to that heart, that'll save me like 5 minutes of smacking and dodging. So I ready my firebombs and get into position. But unfortunately, the throw comes up agonizingly short. But hopefully I should at least thin out some of that horde. I make my way through the side window and assess the situation. Everyone is now outside and I need to capitalize on this situation. Time to beat some pulsating meat. I assumed the bloater had gone up in flames outside, but I was was mistaken. As he attempts to sneak up on me, I dash out of the kitchen, but it turns out there's another. He snuck through the back while I was focused on the front. Now his load traps me in the bathroom with no window to escape from. But if you trap a dragon, you're likely to get burnt. Holy shit, I need to write a motivational book. And that's just some of the shit that comes out of my mouth while I'm hungover on a Wednesday morning. Imagine what I could come up with when I'm on top of my game. Anyway, that's cleared the room enough so I can start battering the heart again. That is until I need to retreat because of our crackhead problem. A couple of headshots puts him to rest. Then with massive crowds bearing down on my location, Stuart can charge in and show off her impressive palm strength.
Oh! Hardest palms in the west, my friend.
Or the north, south or east. I'll be honest, I don't know where Mika Valley's based. I barricade myself in the gun shed out back and very quickly start searching all the containers for valuable items. After finding bullets, a pipe bomb and an ammo resource, the crowds have started to gather outside my door. Well, that's probably my cue to get the fuck out of here. Thankfully, I've still got my driver's side door to escape relatively safely. I head back to my outpost, which still has 20 minutes of landmine defenses. Then after unloading some of my loot, I use up my final toolkit. Ideally, I need to recruit someone with the mechanics skill. I then head back to base as Hastings has some intel for me. Zombies are starting to mutate. And of all the mutations you could possibly have, this is the last you'd want in this mod. You'll find out exactly which soon enough. But first I promote Hastings as leader and take control of her. She's decided to help out some neighbours with a food issue. And funnily enough, we've actually got plenty of food. Probably from all that rationing I've been doing. Shit, sorry, no, not rationing. Fasting. Yes, we've become healthy. We're fasting. 16-8 and all that, innit? But unfortunately I never get to my destination as the game crashes.
Don't crash. You bastard!
Usually I'd edit around a game crash for cinematic consistency, but this time the game properly screwed me.
Oh, do not say. Oh, you bastard! You bastard!
The game puts me safely back at home, but the car is in the exact same place as when the game crashed. 400 twatting meters away. But as the lethal zone gods take with one hand, they give with another. Usually the alcoholic enclave is a massive burden, but by saving them then rejecting their first mission, after a while they'll ask if they can join the gang and we'll have enough people to move to the brewery. But first I just need to reclaim my car. Typically my journey takes me past an infestation, but with a single feral, my only real opposition, I deal with it appropriately. And would you look at that? A suppressor for my troubles. And while I'm running past, I decide to deal with the rest of the infestation, which obviously goes well.
Oh, you twat.
It's also at this point I realise the mutated zombies are gunk zombies. I'm sure you'll agree not an ideal situation to be in. Now I can't realistically fight with melee as I'll take damage. I also don't want to use up too much of my bullet supply, especially as every shot will draw more. Well, it's a good thing you just found that suppressor, innit, but shut up, you twats. I finally get to my car and make my way over to save the stranded alcoholic, which goes well.
Oh, Jesus. That is not a good mutation to have with this mod.
And I haven't even attempted to save the guy yet.
You fucking monsters! What the hell are you on about? There's nobody around you.
You must be on about all the demons from the excessive alcohol consumption.
I'm trying to save you, woman. Please stay still. Oh, God.
With the hordes rapidly growing out of control and me not able to take them out with melee, we're stuck between a rock and a shit place. Thankfully, that shit place is a Newport, otherwise we'd be really screwed.
Fucking just stay still long enough.
The fucker just needs to follow me back to my car.
Shit. Let me talk to you for Christ's sake. You're gonna die. Oh, my God. This person's dead. This person's dead.
I only know of one surefire play to get out of this situation, and I'm all out of Molotovs. It's time for more vehicular Zomslaughter, baby. After ploughing through the crowds like a drunken celebrity, I rush back inside to finish the job. But when no igniter bullshit is about to get loud. But as long as I can clear the crowds before more appear, I should be okay.
For the love of God, man. Talk to me. Oh, for Christ's sake. Get you now. Matthew. Yes, come on. For the love of God, Matthew. Get in the pissing car.
Thankfully, get in the car before the gunk Zeds fully drown either of us. But the escape has sure left its toll on our only vehicle. I need another bloody toolkit. But for now, I'll just settle for dropping off this bloody alcoholic. They tell me they're setting up a still, and I'm like, don't even fucking go there, you silly prick. But hey, at least they're safe. Step 1 of the plan has been completed. As the sun starts to set, it's time for me to go into loot mode. Starting by climbing a cell tower in the southwest portion of the map, I discover there's just a casual 10 hearts surrounding Whitney Field. Jesus Christ, I'm glad I'm not going for that bloody base. I collect plenty of fuel from the fuel tank next door, and a second from the Bronto gas station. But as I've only got 4 slots in the boot, I need to unload my goodies before I can really start my looting plan. I can also help out another enclave with their food problem, which will hopefully gain me more allies and potential recruits. So all I need to do is get back to base.
No, shit! Oh my God! Get away.
Thankfully, I'm carrying 2 cures on me, but I really don't need the additional damage on my car. And inevitably, I've also got to deal with another bloody crackhead. You might also notice I've attached the suppressor. Let's not talk about it. I then make the risky dash to my car. The risky because I've got no driver's side door, but gratefully I make my escape. Although when I get back, I make the decision to swap out to Stuart, who's overall in a much better condition. She's also grabbed a sack of food so she can sort out Manuel, which goes well.
You seem alright. I guess you can come in.
I should hope I'm allowed to come in. I'm the one with your bloody food, you bellend.
I give them the food, but the bastards remain neutral. So I pinch their building mats and pipe bombs and get the fuck out of there. My plan is to head back to the area I was at earlier, because there's a building that always spawns 2 building mats and a fuel resource.
Oh, you fuck off. Where did he come from?
Imagine being that kind of sneaky prick. What a bastard. Gratefully it happened in an area where not much was happening, so I can get back in my car and complete the journey. Although a screamer means this is about to get so much more difficult. As the screamer does this thing, zombies pile out of the surrounding buildings in numbers I've never seen before. This just becomes so much more difficult. Have that, you prick. With the gunk mutation over, I can finally get back to fighting hand to hand, but the only stamina items I have are snacks, and that makes fighting hordes like this so much more perilous.
Oh my god. Oh my god. A molly. Oh, hang on. Do I have mollies? I do have mollies.
They really do an excellent job of thinning out the hordes, but when I start fighting the stragglers, more and more just appear. And fighting like this is rather difficult, especially when your stamina drains faster than my social battery at a family gathering.
I can regain on here. Oh, you bastard! How the fuck did you do that? Pulling me off my caravan! I have never seen that before. Glitch or feature? I'll let you decide in the comment section.
I use up my final 2 mollies, but it's simply no use.
Oh my god. There's more. There's more. There's more. There's always bloody more.
A smarter man will retreat and come back another day, but I am not a smart man. Instead, I charge into the building I need to and stab a screamer in the face. Hordes hot on my tail, I search the container I need to and collect my thirst of free resources. I barely make it out of the store alive, infection meter ticking away all the more. Right now, I just need to drop off these supplies. I lead the hordes around the back of the army store, and I loop back around to the front, depositing my first resource. 1 down, 2 more to go. It seems the hordes are distracted by something. I just need to bide my time and I can slip in unnoticed. That is until I accidentally burst through the locked pharmacy door, and that's gonna draw them all directly to me. In my panicked state, I quickly search a container, finding a shotgun press. Fuck knows why you'd need a shotgun press in a pharmacy. Over here, we just get shitty lollipops. I sneak back around the other side and successfully collect my second sack. On the way out, I also search this abandoned car, collect a smoke bomb and painkillers. I drop off the second sack. Just one more stands between me and my escape. Thinking the hordes are distracted, I make my move, but it turns out I was very much wrong. So I run around the back of the buildings, but this time I climb up the ladder, only to immediately throw myself over the front. We call that a tactical sacrifice. I grab the final sack of resources and get the hell out of there. Although in doing so, the car has taken on even more damage. It's absolutely fine, I'm sure I'll find a toolkit at some point. I get back and unload, then I can start the upgrade of my command center to level 2. Once that's done, I'll be able to claim a 4th outpost. I again use infection therapy to remove Stuart's plague meter, and completely ignoring our growing infestation problem, I make my way back to the alcoholics as they want a hand setting up a still. Phase 2 of my recruitment plan is in motion. I burst through their water station and tell them there's absolutely zero chance in hell that I'll be helping them. Now it's just a waiting game until they beg to join me. I also capitalize on their addiction thanks to the finer things in life curveball that gave me a shit ton of booze. Don't blame me, it's called capitalism. Besides, they got bigger things to worry about.
Oh god. Oh no. Oh my god.
I do everything I can to try and keep my investments alive and lead the juggernauts away from their home. That's when my ignorance to the infestation problem comes back to bite me on the arse. We've got 10 minutes until we get sieged. Looks like I'm abandoning the alcoholics. Thank fuck the juggernaut gave me a chance to escape. I speed back to hopefully cut off the first wave so my community don't get wiped due to the bad AI. I park the car around the corner from the siege site and go in on foot. This would be my first mistake. I get to the house on my random blasting accidentally hits a screamer, clearing the site. I then rush back to my car so I can cut off another wave, but Stuart is sadly too slow to start the engine and I get pulled out as the car bursts into flames. Okay, fair enough, looks like I'm back on foot. A wave of a screamer, 5 zombies and a bloater has reached my perimeter. That's barely an inconvenience for Stuart, who's packing heat like that quiet kid in an American high school. In fact, she deals with the second wave just as easily. This could be the most anticlimactic siege since Game of Thrones Season 8. After successfully defending the siege, I head back to collect my car, which goes about as well as you'd expect. Shit! Thankfully I can pull it into my parking spot before it detonates. So we get back and chuck Stuart into the infirmary before Hastings once again running off into the unknown to retrieve a new vehicle, doing everything she can to avoid that triple pack of juggernauts. But that right there is nothing. Once our standing's high enough, we'll get 4 packs of those bastards. Hastings dashes across fields like they're nothing. She's a cardiovascular goddess who'd give Mo Farah a run for his money. Avoiding the hordes of 20 plus plague Zeds, she gets to the site of the abandoned pickup 500 meters from home. And gratefully, the one thing thing we have in abundance is fuel. Otherwise, there'd be no chance in hell I'd be moving this thirsty girl. Gratefully, we've now got a moving vehicle, and it's got much better storage than our previous car. Unfortunately though, Bertie the yellow pickup has just got out of an abusive relationship and needs a little TLC to get back on her feet. So my desperate hunt for toolkits takes me back to the fire station, you know the one. And after killing a solitary Zed, we get to searching.
Oh my god, what's the chances of that? That is the first one we've looked at, chat.
We find ourselves several fuel cans and even a second toolkit. I also looted the plague art we destroyed previously, as I didn't have the time the last time we were here. So with Bertie refueled, repaired and her back end stuffed with precious resources, I make our way to the next heart. You know what they say, while the sun is shining we make hay, right? Well, I'll be honest, from a metaphoric stance at least, shit isn't very sunny. It turns out this plague art's on the first floor, so I've got no quick exit if shit goes south, especially if I don't want to roll an ankle. And let's be honest, shit usually goes south quicker than a double booked hooker. Unfortunately, my full frontal assault is interrupted.
Oh my god. Jesus.
So I dash for a quick escape and take refuge on an abandoned car outside. And mercifully I remove the crackhead from this perilous world. Get wrecked, you bitch. I then hop down to remove a few stragglers before going back to beating strange meat. And much quicker than usual we complete the first phase, although I do get singed in my escape. I then take refuge in the adjacent bathroom and await the onslaught of the undead. But surprisingly the hordes don't even notice me cowering away and instead crowd around the play cart. Luckily I'm armed with just the right equipment to deal with this situation. What? Where the fucking hell are they? Alright, well if I were to take a guess, I'd say they've thrown themselves out of the window like a 1930s stockbroker. So I once again start battering, but as I do, the crowd starts filtering in from downstairs. But I've got to be patient and hold my nerves. I want this entire room bursting from the seams before I drop my explosives. So I dodge and smack anything that comes at me, while also finding time to hit the play cart. Well, that is until my energy drink runs out and I've got to dash before my lungs collapse. But obviously before I do...
Alright, well that should take out a big chunk of the dickheads in there.
And the ones it didn't are quite literally legless and harmless. Excuse the god-awful puns. I get a couple more heavy hits off before the crowd start bursting into the room once again. And once the room is over capacity, I drop my final pipe bomb. Then ankle deep in Plague's heads, I attempt to complete the second phase. That is until another horde catches up to me, and this one has brought a bloody crackhead. And with no stamina left, I only have one solution. Throw myself out of the bloody window. I guess that now officially makes me a finance bro. I need to start shilling out the shitty cryptocurrency to my impressionable audience. I regain my stamina and take out the drug abuser before attempting to lure the Zeds away from the area.
Hello? Can you see me over here?
With the crowds hopefully chasing me, I then lead them through an abandoned house nearby and loop back around the front where there are a few stragglers left over. I execute the one, but the rest just wander off, which means I'm able to creep back upstairs and, ignoring the limbless on the floor, I'm completely uncontested to complete the second phase, which should at least burn up the worms I've left behind. But while the flames and gases dissipate, it's time for a tactical retreat. I once again have to lead another horde away from the heart. After popping some shots to get their attention, I leg it down the street and lure them into a neighbour's house before I sneak out of the back like a fart you can't trust.
And then we can creep back over to the other house. Look at this. Oh god, there's two right on my ass.
Thankfully they have the IQ of a retired footballer, so I'm easily able to lose them. Then after sorting out a couple of stragglers, I take out the heart with 2 more swings of my drive shaft. I then take all of the loot, kill another crackhead and take Bertie back to base, as Hastings probably deserves a break in all fairness. So I swap to Stuart, and seeing as the sun is still shining, it's time to take on another play cart. And I've again chosen to stick to the area around my next base site. But first I've got to know where the bastards are, so put a waypoint onto the billboard. I'm sure this won't go awfully, and I certainly won't get stuck at the top while surrounded by the undead. From my scouting spot I find a casual 6 play carts, but at least one of them is in a barn, and I can use that to my advantage. But we'll get to that in a bit. For now I need to lose the hordes that have trapped me up here. In all fairness, probably not a great position to be in, especially with a crackhead in the area. But thankfully Stuart's a living legend and gets away with literally not even taking a smidge of damage. Okay, well, for the most part at least. I pop off a feral and it drops an assault rifle, and that tells me it must have come from an infestation nearby. But I definitely need to backtrack to collect it. Often those are 50 or 100 round rifles that are fully loaded, and that would do amazingly right now. But first I'm gonna have to do something about this horde. Or I could just say fuck it and run straight past it. The old snatch and grab tactic that's really popular with Minecraft YouTubers. 50 round rifle, nice. I then attempt to lead the horde through a nearby house, which at first glance seemed to go really well.
I think I might be okay. Oh, Jesus Christ!
So I'm I'm forced to loudly deal with the feral, which only draws the hordes back into the open. And instead of coming up with another tactical master plan, I just run straight for the car, which goes about as well as you'd expect. But at least we're not on fire, I suppose. I head a few houses down towards the play cart, and after busting through the window, drop a smoke grenade. That means I can batter the heart and the zombies can't see me. I can't even see me. Unfortunately, the smoke doesn't last long enough for me to complete the first phase, and rather foolishly I refuse to retreat. So what follows is a few mins of me dodging back and forth and timing my swings to hit both the heart and the undead. This tactic works especially well with my back well and truly wedged against a wall. Once I think the room is over capacity, I drop a pipe bomb and dive out of the way, although that doesn't do anything to the hordes. But at least I also didn't lose a limb in the process. Thankfully, one more smack completes the phase, but I get stuck and can't escape in time before everything gets burned. Mercifully, Stuart has built up a tolerance to flames and only takes minimal damage. Unfortunately though, it's not just the hordes I have to deal with while attacking this heart. 4 bloody juggernauts have decided to make their presence known. So I go for an even bigger trek than I normally would. In all honesty, I'm just trying to get them as far away from my car as humanly possible. They can't harm me while I'm attacking the heart, but their tirade against motor vehicles is on par with just stop oil. Thankfully for now, at least they don't seem too interested in what we're doing. That means I can go back into my corner and start heavy swinging against the play card. Unfortunately, the strat isn't too exciting, just stay in one place and time your swings accordingly. And hope the camera angle doesn't screw you too much. Honestly, I'd say this is the best strat I can come up with, providing you've got stamina items to keep you going, of course. I complete the second phase and once again don't dodge out in time to avoid the flames. But I'm blaming the zombie with a thyroid problem blocking my path. I'll have you know there's certainly no skill issues going on here. Thank you very much. In all honesty, those flames did a pretty good job of thinning out the hordes. But they didn't do much to prevent this twat from showing up. So it's time for a close quarters fight to the death with everyone's least favourite crackhead. But you know what? Screw the close quarters shit, I'm doing this in an open field. Time to say Alvidasane, ya bellend. Oh shit. That's fine, nothing a couple of paracetamol can't sort out. Ignoring the horde breathing down my neck, I head back in and start beating the heart again. Come on, it's just get in, the right timing, and trying to keep the camera in a place that I can see is ideally. Then we get a bit of bad news. My shaft has turned yellow and any decent physician will tell you that's a problem. Let's just hope it doesn't completely disassemble before we can finish off this heart. So I wedge myself in the corner and just start swinging like a baby that won't stop crying. We get the win with my shafts still in a damaged state, then accidentally pipe bomb myself. I'm guessing Stuart's skull is made of Kevlar, as she took like no damage from that blast. What a woman. At my age I strained myself just sleeping in the wrong position, and she's walking off pipe bomb blasts. I then noticed the undead have started to infest my outposts. In fact, they've taken 2 out of 3, and it seems another horde is about to claim the 3rd. Well, not if I have anything to do with it. Time to activate incendiary minefields, baby. That'll prevent my outpost from being infested, while also providing me with a nice little safe space. Well, that is, at least until the game crashes and completely corrupts the rest of the recording. So I've had to download the next hour and a half from the stream on YouTube, so the quality might not be as high as you're used to. Also, this ugly mug isn't going anywhere. Oh, fuck off. Get absolutely fucked. Yeah, so the save state was before I'd taken down the play cart, but at least it was only 1 shot. And I suppose I didn't waste 2 pipe bombs in my escape, so that's pretty decent. I've also set landmines to protect the food outpost, but I've got to clear the other 2 the old-fashioned way. Getting your ears blown out by a screamer before a simple blow to the face ends proceedings. Then repeat that for my ammo outpost. And then it's on to my next mission. And at this point I'd usually zoom into the top right so you could see what that mission is. But thanks to the corrupted footage, you gotta stare at this thing. But basically the alcoholics have decided the still project isn't working out, so I've requested to join our group of badasses. Everything is going exactly according to my plan. I chat to their leader Matthew, who's like, any chance you can take us in? And I'm like, fuck I, welcome to the team, son. But things in this mod are very rarely that simple. One of them's a plague victim, and of all the people is their goddamn leader. For fuck's sake, like, there's always one prick who tries to hide the zombie bite. Good thing we're smart bastards and have manufactured a cure. But the fuckers just refuse to stop and take it off me. Come on. Stay still. I'm trying to keep them alive. Oh, you know what? They're fucked. Run away. Run away. You might think that's harsh, but I had to in order to guarantee the survival of the group. I only need 2 of them in order to move bases, and if I'd stayed to fight off the hordes to save 1 guy, the rest of them would have potentially got infected from the fight. I'm basically a doctor removing a testicle before the cancer spreads to the important bits, like the shaft. Hoping I'm far enough away he can snap to base, I try checking him into the infirmary, but unfortunately he's away. So unfortunately there's nothing more I can do other than await the inevitable. Poor Matthew. There was literally nothing more I could do. Rest well, my friend. We shall see you on the other side. And if I get a single comment saying, why didn't you just exit the king, but I swear to God I will not be held responsible for my actions. But at least now is finally time to move bases.
Oh, hang on, have I got enough? Oh, I haven't got enough influence, have I?
I suppose that's what I get for spending influence upgrading my outposts at the start of the stream. What a bellend. So it looks like I've got to come up with a plan B. I start by giving a friendly enclave the 3 plague samples thereafter, as if I haven't got hundreds of the bastards. And now that they're allied, I sell them a load of redundant shite. You know, bog roll, generators, crossbows, the like. I then use friendly broadcast to increase our influence gained by 10% for the next 45 minutes. And then you'd probably think I'd go and sort out this massive infestation problem, right? I'm like, nah, fuck that, mate, I'm off to cheat a play cart. You're probably already aware of this trap, but just in case you're not, if you ever get a play cart spawn in a barn like this, just make sure to park your car like so. Then that way no zombies can get you while you're assaulting the play cart. A tactic I'll be using whenever possible, especially considering all the hearts here are black. And seeing as this is the first time I've been one-on-one uninterrupted with a black heart, I decided to do a bit of counting. And it took me 14 full power swings to complete the first phase. So just remember, every time in this playthrough you see me fight one of these things, I'm having to hit the fucking thing over 40 times with a heavy weapon. And that's power swings. That takes an extra second to charge. Even when uncontested, I still find a way to singe an eyebrow. But thankfully, with the power of editing, you get to see things much quicker. I still get plenty of time to loot everything I need, then reverse my way out of the barn, surprisingly not getting attacked by the undead. That's a win that I'll take. I then head back to the landmine protected outpost to drop off my loot, and seeing as we're in walking distance of an infestation, I decide to go check it out. I try getting the quick shot and dash, but whoever installed these doors did a bloody cracking job. I physically gotta open the door to headshot him, but that just releases a feral. And that means we gotta have another roly-poly battle in the car park. Ah!
Wanker! Oh god, oh god.
I obviously get the win, as my days of being terrorised by these quick pricks is long gone. And that feral kill gives me just enough influence I need. I can finally move bases and start building the sanctuary we need in order to survive this long term, as clearing 72 black hearts tends to take a while. But first I head back to base because one of our newbies has some curveball intel. It seems the undead are getting physically weaker. We shall almost certainly find a way to benefit from that soon enough. But for now, let's head to claim a new base and end any threat of a potential siege. Thankfully there's no squatters I've got to evict, so I'm able to nice and quickly claim it as our new home. So now we get to start building, and the first thing you should always do is build an infirmary and upgrade it to level 2 as soon as possible. Next I'd like to build a couple of hydroponics, but unfortunately lack the utility skill. And the only textbook I've picked up on my travels is gardening. Also, to save on our daily food intake, I enact rationing in our built-in tasting room. I can also use this facility to craft mollies and energy drinks, 2 things we'll need plenty of. I then upgrade the infirmary to level 2 and start the construction of a farm to give us extra food. Then while I wait for construction to complete, I grab a load of my useless valuables and head to a mysterious wandering trader to gain back as much influence as I can. But if I'm being honest with you, the bloke might be a bit tapped in the head, as he set up shop in a little tiny shed right next door to a luxury 4-bed attached. I'm no estate agent, but that doesn't seem like the smart play in my eyes. He has loads of really useful items on him, and I'd really love to run about with a 12-round grenade launcher, but sadly I can't afford any of it. So I just sell him everything I have and loot the shed he's standing in. Then with my construction projects completed, I tear down the keg cooperage for an extra 8 building mats, then replace it with an additional farm. Then as the sun is rising, I take the opportunity to take on another play cart. Thankfully there's not much in the way of foot traffic around here, so I take the opportunity to get a good few swings in before the locals can rock up and disturb my progress. That's when I get bit from behind. Not an ideal situation to be in, especially as the gunshots I use to clear off the dickheads just attract a horde that happens to be wandering past. So I very quickly get overrun while my plague meter continues to climb. Thankfully I'm packing frag grenades and they're very useful for clearing the hordes. I am then able to complete the first phase and even manage to escape before bursting into flames. But that's when another crackhead decides to rock up, and even though I'm able to take him out pretty simply, it's not too long before I drop my guard and get infected. Well, it's a bloody good thing I always carry plenty of plague cure, but it seems today I only packed the one. But that's alright, I'm experienced and decent enough to take down 2 more phases without getting infected a second time. Okay, apparently not.
Oh, fuck off, I'm infected again? Right, now I've got to run, because I didn't bring 2 cures. Yes, it is a rookie mistake, I'm aware of that.
So I run back home with my tail tucked between my legs. But it's not all bad news, as we've had another curveball start. I get back and sort out Hastings with a cure, and decide it's probably best to give the girl a rest and swap out to Stuart. And after a quick gather of resources, I check out our map. And ignoring the massive infestation problem, and the siege sites that are forming once again, it looks like we've got 2 overlapping curveballs on the go. Dulled senses and just fed. Well, what a winning winning combination, that is. Just fed means zombies won't run and will deal less damage, while dulled senses means they can't see or hear as well and will occasionally fall over. We must strike now while the iron is hot. Stuart immediately heads back to the scene of Hastings' infection, and with both those curveballs active, I can pretty simply start dealing with the plague heart. I claim the second phase pretty much uncontested, then run outside while I wait for the gases to dissipate. And as you can see, the undead have as much go in them as a stoned panda. Going off tangent slightly, can we all agree one thing? Pandas are fucking pathetic. Of all the endangered animals we could be saving, why the bloody hell are we trying to save the one that doesn't want to be saved? I think we should make it a rule. If animals don't want to reproduce, just let the fuckers die in peace. We should instead put that funding in saving a proper sick animal like the rhino. That's an animal that won't let you down, plus it's only 365 days a year. Anyway, I continue battering the heart, although progress is slow, as the only stamina items I have left is snacks. Then a crackhead forces me to retreat, but I notice he's got a purple head, so he's affected by a curveball. I'll be honest, I didn't realise freaks could be affected from these kind of things. I'll definitely have to try that out in more detail. Anyway, I go back to battering the heart, that is until another feral decides to make an appearance. I retreat and await its appearance, but it seems slow, clumsy and useless. Well, I've never related to a zombie before, but I suppose there's a first time for everything. Being a clumsy piece of shit, he trips over his own ankles, which puts him in an easy execution position. I'm just grateful to save ammo in all honesty. I can then finally take down the heart and take all of its goodies, but now I've unfortunately got to rush back to base, as I'm once again getting sieged. One of these days I'll learn from my mistakes, but that is not today. I speed back and kick into action, but that's when I realise all the zombies are still slow from that curveball. So if anything, dealing with this siege is actually pretty simple. You know what? I don't think I need to learn from my mistakes. This is actually pretty simple. So I take down the siege in what I can only describe as a very anticlimactic fashion. But I suppose that's a great metaphor for life. Most of us will die well past our best, highly medicated and pissing and shitting ourselves on the daily. All we can really hope for is a peaceful ending as we slip away for a medically induced coma. But with those two positive curveballs still active, we really should be making moves to capitalise on them. So right now is the most opportune moment to take down as many black hearts as possible. The problem being my two heavy hitters, being Hastings and Stuart, are knackered from previous fights, so I'm forced to take control of our third founding member, Nichols. But as I don't know where any of the hearts are in this area, first I've got to do a bit of scouting. And as time is of the essence, I really don't want to be dicking about here.
Oh, God. Well, I want to say things have got off to not a great start there. Ignore that.
Thank fuck for the radio stuck command.
Don't jump on the car. Do not jump on the bonnet. You're a prick, you.
The game teleports me to safety and I immediately crash the car to remove the pest. Looks like we're gonna need another toolkit sooner rather than later. But hey, I climb and scout and shake it all about. But unfortunately I can't do the hokey cokey and turn around, as the stereotype white men can't dance is very much accurate for this knobhead. Anyway, Nichols gets to the location of his first heart and charges in to start his assault high on his own supply. Well, strictly speaking, that's not true. He's no chemist, and in fact I don't remember him making a single contribution to this entire community. But I'm glad that can finally change today, and now a feral has decided to make his appearance. Thankfully the just fed curveball means zombies are more prone to falling over, so I might be able to easily execute the crackhead providing he's not surrounded when he trips over. Also, one of the positive curveballs has come to an end.
Oh no, the slower ones are gone.
Not great, especially as Nichols was already carrying injuries before we left, so maybe it wasn't the smartest play to bring him out, but you know, things tend to work out. I'll be fine.
Just fed has just ended, and that is the one of the ones which I am currently using. Shit.
Well, that certainly didn't help my situation. But my policy is a lot like the US foreign policy. When in doubt, burn the fuck out of everything. I then see the feral trip over his own feet, but by the time I make my move, he's recomposed himself. You clever girl. Did it set that trap itself? Are they evolving? Nah, I doubt it. Nichols probably had a heavy night, seeing as he's basing at the brewery and he's just moving a bit slower than usual. But hey, at least he's managed to execute the crackhead. Although some might say the cost was too great.
Oh shit! What? No! Did I kill the feral? I certainly fucking hope so.
Oh yeah, you don't need to worry about him unless he's Jesus. But even then, you still got 3 days, so you probably sound like
Nichols is not designed for this kind of fight. That's what I'm figuring.
But at least now the crackhead's dead, we should finally be able to get some solid hits onto the play card. Although I've just taken my final energy drink, and we still haven't even completed the first phase. And I've seen corpses showing more signs of life than he is. A smart man here would run for the hills, but I am neither a smart man, and Nichols is no pussy. He knows he can gain legendary status by just defeating this thing, and that is why he brought plenty of mollies with him.
Corral around, my friend. Corral around.
And that's when my caffeine supply completely runs dry. So you think now would be the time to run? Nah, I dash back inside, dodge a couple of zombies and close the back door. And that was unarguably moronic as I'm completely out of stamina and taking more damage.
This guy is shit! Nichols! What the fuck? fuck's your problem, pal?
Ah yes, that's the way. It's obviously the character that shit, not the dickhead controlling him. Imagine complaining an abused child can't run a marathon or like complete his GCSEs or something. He hasn't eaten in 3 days and the fucker's got no shoes like. I complete about 3 hits before Nichols is completely winded, forcing him to limp away clutching at his chest. But as I escape, I manage to close the door behind me, then immediately set it on fire.
That should sort him out.
And it certainly did, well, for the most part at least. But you see, the thing about this mod and Lethal Zone in general, when you remove the head of one zombie, 2 more shall take its place. I also need to stop sprinting everywhere, my guy is literally fucking shattered. I try leading them all away and burning them, but only take more damage in the process. But still, I refuse to retreat. And then I struggle with getting the door closed.
Close the fucking door, son! With you on the other side, for love of God.
And then this happens.
Oh. No! Nichols! Stand up, Nichols! No! We're gonna need RIPs for Nichols in the comment section, please.
We are certainly going to need RIPs for this man in the comment section, but sadly only one person is to blame for his loss. The first true loss of this series. And that is this man right here. At the end of the day, if he spent more time working on his cardio, we wouldn't be in this mess. But RIP, bro, you'll very much be missed. So now taking over as Stuart, who is now better than brilliant, by the way, we make our way back to find Nichols' body. Well, mainly the items in his pocket, if we're being honest. And obviously, we've got to do so on foot, as dead people can't drive their cars back to base. Scientists really need to pull their finger out of their arse.
I've got mollies, I've got pipe bombs, and I have a dream. It's a bit different to Martin Luther King's speech, that one, isn't it?
When I arrive at the site of Nichols' demise, all the zombies have wandered off. All except one, that is.
Well, there's Nichols. RIP, my friend.
Thank you for keeping all your stuff nice and safe. Being the legend she is, Stuart quickly completes the first phase of the heart.
Right, allow the gases to dissipate, ladies and gentlemen. That is the plan, that is the plan. Oh God! Jesus!
Stuart can quickly deal with the feral thanks to his snap aim abilities, something Nichols sadly didn't possess.
Dull senses has also ended. Well, this has gone off fucking terribly, isn't it?
So I toss a molly to burn up the crowds, and head back in where I find out the crowds have grown exponentially. So I wedge myself in the corner and get to singing. Sorry, swinging.
Timing is everything. Timing is everything.
Okay, I guess we can multitask. Once my stamina is unsafely depleted, it's time to dip out. But I make sure to toss a pipe bomb over my shoulder as I do so. Surprisingly, that knocked the entire horde flat on its arse. And even though they're still alive, they just refuse to get up and attack me. This must be what it feels like to be feared. That's when I see a bloater enter the room, but unfortunately I can't edge him close enough to the play cart. But I can at least drop a molly to do some crowd control, even if that means I get singed in the process. And that actually worked out really well. That means I can get back in there and finally complete the second phase.
Fucking move!
That obviously draws more hordes, so I gotta run around for 5. But as I've led the hordes away, I'm pretty safe to re-enter and attack until they catch back up. And when I say catch back up, I mean this dickhead. Definitely don't want to fight close quarters, especially with my infection bar the way it is. But in the words of the late great Chester Bennington, in the end, it doesn't even matter.
Shit!
But by now you should always know, we always carry plenty of cures. With the armor completely gone, I pop the crackhead, and then run back inside to beat some more strange meat. And gratefully it's not too much longer before the whole thing falls. I quickly grab the necessities before I get trapped in the kitchen from bloater gas. Obviously not ideal, but at least there's no ferals trying to munch at my ankles. But once that's dissipated, I grab the car and make my way back home, as I think Stuart really deserves a rest. Although before she has a breather, she chats to one of our newbies bootleg, who's like some moonshiners blew themselves up and all the nearby Zeds are now covered in alcohol. That's when I realise there's a red talon wandering trader on the map, and he's only got 6 minutes left on his shift, so I've really got to get a move on. I grab a load of my redundant shite, white noise machines, crossbows, bog rolls, you know the sort of shit. I make my way over to him without even swapping character, but I'm sure that won't come back to bite us in the ass. Or will it? Gratefully, he's hiding out at the site of a former plague cart that hasn't been fully looted, so that can provide an extra source of influence. But first, I wait for the NPCs to clear the horde that was attracted by my loud engine. I sell all of my shite, and I purchase the ammo and fuel rucksacks as well as his frag grenades. And as great as that is, what I really need is building materials so I can continue building out my base. But most of the building mat sites are on the other side of the river, which is very, very deep into plague territory. So I go back to the site of the 2 unfinished houses. Unfortunately, one of which is still rocking a level 2 infestation. But seeing as there's no juggernauts, I should be able to handle the situation. I start fighting the plague Zeds, but as they get too much, I dip out and climb onto the container nearby. I pop the 2 screamers and that clears the infestation, but it's fair to say I could have handled the situation with a bit more finesse. And I certainly can't loot with the population the way it is, so I need to come up with another dastardly plan. But it seems the game has other plans for me.
Oh, fuck off, not a siege again! You having a laugh? This is the 3rd time I've been sieged. You know what, I might ignore it. What's the worst that could happen?
Who'd have guessed ignoring all of your problems would compound them into a constant source of uncontrollable anxiety with potentially life-changing side effects. I mean, I go and pay a visit to the new neighbours, but it turns out they're a bunch of pricks.
You guys are hogging the supplies, how about you share some? No.
You really don't want to disappoint me like that again.
Alright, Dad. Jesus Christ.
Out of interest, I check what they got for trading, and it just seems that they're a bunch of goths. Nothing but love to the gothic community, but I bet your toilet bowls are shaded darker than your lipstick.
Whew, come on, this way.
Before I leave, I make sure to taunt the level 3 infestation across the road. Best of luck dealing with that Juggernaut and Feral combo. Maybe next time you should try asking nicer. And with the new neighbours fighting off that infestation, all the zombies in the area are focusing on them. That means I can slip back into the unfinished houses and collect the building materials I'm looking for. Across the 2 buildings, I find 3 sacks of building materials as well as a portable generator and a salvage furnace. So I'd say this loot and run has been very, very profitable. But now it's back to the action. It's time to siege. We have a screamer and a bloater bringing it up the rear, but one Molotov sorts that out. It also seems someone hasn't been attending our back entrance properly and we've got a bit of a leak. And let's be honest, nobody likes a leaky back door. But at least the first wave has been completely dealt with. But it seems the second wave is so much bigger. Good thing I'm always packed with a shit ton of mollies. Oh, so many mollies.
Boom. That'll sort them out.
In fact, it worked out so well it cleared the entire wave. And now I've just got to clean up the stragglers.
It's over. That's really...
Oh, really? It's over, is it? It's a bad time to say that, in all honesty, Stuart, love. When you're fighting like 5 of them. All solo, by the way, because nobody else wants to have a go. Right, where's that fucking screamer? And why is nobody taking him out yet? He's literally in the base, guys. Do you know what I mean?
Thankfully, the siege is technically now over, but with all the noise having alerted literally everything in the vicinity, the fight certainly isn't.
Oh god, they're coming from everywhere. Oh, for Christ's sake.
We even have a wandering horde just casually strolling past, although the symbol definitely painted a bigger issue than the reality presented. And I'm not sure if you can tell, but I start getting a little bit agitated.
Nope, I wanted to insta-kill the zombie, mate, not open the door that's behind me.
I know, the signs are very subtle.
How are you doing, Jay? Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm good. A bit stressy, like, you know what I mean?
Thankfully, Molly is a great stress remover. Sorry, not Molly, Molotovs. 2 very different things with very different outcomes. But interestingly, both will make you sweat. That incident certainly left its mark. Other than on Shannon, that is. Lazy bitch. So I start checking people into the infirmary like I'm Noah, 2 at a time. Of all the references I could have gone for there, I went with the Bible. Man, this is such a wholesome channel. I also start building a workshop with the building materials I looted. Then clear the siege site that's forming at the local fire station. Because apparently I've learnt my lesson all of a sudden. And then I'm forced to do something I really didn't want to do. Head into the other side of the river on the desperate search for building materials. Which is arguably a daft decision as Stuart needs a nap and the car is smoking like a pregnant mother from Merthyr. Yes, I know I've used that joke before. What can I say? I'm really big on recycling. This area is usually brilliant for collecting building mats. That is when it's not overrun with the undead. Usually I'd weaponize my arse at this point, but given the damage the car was already taken, I figure it's best to leave. Straight into a dead end apparently. But hey, at least I get to show off my world famous reversing skills. Sorry to disappoint you ladies, I'm a taken man. After deciding the area is too dangerous in my current condition, I head south. I decide to try and loot an auto shop for a toolkit, although it is home to a play card. So I'm gonna have to use all of my sneaky cunning to pull this off. I turn the corner and execute the first zombie I see, which explodes in my face. Ah yes, I forgot. The moonshine soaked Zeds. In all honesty, they're the last thing I could be asked to deal with right now.
I can't melee them because I'll get gunked.
And I can't shoot them because I'll entrap the entire population. Really speaking, my only solution is to run away and try to sneak back round. And some might say I pushed my stealth skills to the absolute limit.
Why am I doing this? Are they blind or something?
I decide to fuck off the stealth, and guess what I find in the first container I search?
Yes. Always know your loot spawns, ladies and gentlemen. While they are all dicking about there, I am going to quickly search this place and hopefully end up with a fuel resource as well.
Nah, what's the chances of that? The dude's obviously a cheating hacker, like.
I am just one lucky son of a bitch.
And with that collected, it's time for me to get out of Dodge. I then stop by the water tower and collect some building materials from the utility shed. But sadly, I don't get any more toolkits. So to improve my mood, I climb a tall tower. Let's be honest, who doesn't love any excuse to get high? In the air, that is. Having collected another sack of materials, I feel happy spending the 15 in the locker to upgrade my now completed workshop. I can then head back and finally give Stuart a rest, taking over as our leader Hastings, who crafts a double batch of weak painkillers, then seeing as the sun is fully risen, head out to take on more play cards. The first of which is in this little house, and I got a horde hot on by 6. But Hastings is an absolute beast and knows exactly how to handle this situation, by pulling a ghost through the door apparently. I find the heart in the bedroom and get to battering. Remember, each phase takes 14 full power swings, so we're in for a long fight. And I get 4 in before we get ambushed by a crackhead. I tried to take the fight outside, but he refuses to come out like he's a Premier League footballer. So I tried to sneak attack him and at least remove his armor.
Oh shit, I pressed B! I pressed B!
But gratefully he doesn't follow up the attack and I managed to dodge out. He comes at me again, but I'm like, have a go at that, you prick. And then I can head back inside and continue the beatdown. Although it's not too long before the crowds catch up to me, so I do what I do best.
Burn, baby burn.
That successfully clears the knobheads and you'll never guess what I do next. Back to bashing 10 sacks. I complete the first phase and surprisingly dip before it burns me alive. But some weird shit is going on with my minimap. I just hope that's a visual glitch and not actual sound waves. But who's to say, that house is looking proper rammed. I jump through the window and wedge myself in the corner and just start timing my swings.
As long as nothing comes from that angle, then I might be alright.
That is until your stamina drains, of course. At that point, it's time to dip and drop a frag grenade. And that's when I get lunged at.
Cool. Oh, you bastard! How? Ow! Honest to fucking God.
Thankfully, I brought 2 plague cures with me, but those lunging pricks do my bloody head in.
This hasn't been a championship performance in all honesty, chat. What can I say? Sometimes you're on your game, sometimes you're not.
I batter until the room hits full capacity, then I drop a molly. With me still in the room. It might not have been the smartest play, but guess what? I'm not the smartest player. That's when I spot a bloke lurking about and decide I've got to weaponize it. I head back into the room where the play card is, and stall proceedings by pushing back zombies while I wait for the bloke to catch up. But while I'm doing this, I get a little message over the radio.
Oh, really? Do you hear that shit? Give me some supplies, or else.
Looks like this heart isn't the only thing that's about to get beaten. As the bloater approaches, I jump out of the window, and while the rest of the Zeds pile out, I wait for the bloater to make its entrance. It appears in the window, and I let fly with the most perfect molly throw of my career, smack dab in the center of the target. It couldn't have been more perfect if it was delivered by the right foot of Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Right, that didn't do anything. That
is without a doubt an issue, as that should have at very least got rid of a phase. I continue battering and fragging, but it still takes another 30 seconds of constant heavy hitting before it completes its phase. And as I narrowly avoid the gas cloud, guess what rocks up? So I lead the thing outside and show it why they call me the Feral Hunter. Good night, you pissing crackhead. As at this point, while surrounded by dozens of the undead, I remember a secret weapon I'm yet to use. A benefit for one of the allied enclaves I've befriended. It's surely gotta be invaluable when I'm surrounded by this many of the undead.
When is the sniper gonna start, like, doing stuff then? You know what I mean? I'm not calling the sniper a liar.
Well, you know what? If you don't, I will. Someone's gotta say something, boys, I'm telling you. Those cheeky bastards have just stolen my 100 influence, and now they're claiming they've completed the job. Are you taking the bloody piss, man? Before it's now completely out of control and my friends ignoring my cries for assistance, even if I paid for it, I gather them into one pile and drop a fuel bomb, which actually worked out pretty decently. And with the crowd control completed, I go back inside and completely finish the play card. After another solid 2 minutes of swinging, may I add. And really speaking, I probably should be heading home right now, but there's another play card just literally around the corner, and if I'm smart about it, I should be able to slow the flow enough to get a fairly quick victory. What a naive fool I was. I head in and start smacking, and literally the first noise I hear is the cry of a blood feral. Not ideal, in fact, I think I'd rather hear literally anything else at the moment. I'm so sorry to tell you this, Mr. Talbot, but I'm afraid it's terminal. With that crackhead dead, I'm actually able to complete the first phase, but there's certainly more than one out there. Unfortunately, I'm too slow to escape this gas radius and get singed, but you probably could have guessed that, let's be honest. I climb onto a shipping container to escape the feral, but in doing so, spot something so much worse.
Oh no. Are you seeing this right now? Oh, Jesus Christ.
Fearing for my car and not wanting to walk back home, I decide to retreat, but not back home. My plan is to take down these beasts with the back of my car, then return and claim victory over the play cart. But as you may have figured out by now, my plans very rarely come off.
Oh no, oh no, oh no. Oh God. No, that is not good. No, that is not good. Why? I
throw myself out of the vehicle, but we still have 4 juggernauts chasing us. Well, it's a good thing I know exactly what to do with them, baby.
I mean, unfortunately, the 4 of them aren't going to get there.
We have a certain enclave nearby demanding ammo supplies, so I think I'm going to deliver some. In the form of a firework I scavenged from a shed earlier. I then tell Barnstormer his mother has cheesy feet, and then I can hop a wall and watch the evisceration in progress.
Well. We're just going to enjoy the view.
As a single juggernaut and a horde beat down the demanding bastards. From the blood-curdling screams to the groans of agony, it really is a sight to behold.
There's one dead.
And it's not much longer until the final member falls.
Oh, yep, she's gone.
That might have been successful, but we are still up Shit's Creek without a paddle. I really need to get a vehicle up and running. Also, a bit of unsolicited advice for you. Don't open the menu while you're being chased by the undead.
Oh, you were kidding me. How did that happen?
By you being a blind moron. I've set my sights on an allied enclave, the one that stole all of my influence earlier. But don't worry, we're not here to continue our bloodlust. I've had a lot of luck purchasing toolkits from these guys in the past, and it seems that luck continues today. And with that, we can rush back to our pickup and get it fixed up before heading back to the previous play card. No quad pack of jugs here though, so that's nice. And the whole slow the flow tactic works out so well, I'm able to pretty simply get the victory. Please ignore my health bar and the fact it's now nighttime. That definitely didn't take me 20 minutes of running around like a headless chicken. Anyway, we head back to base, unload and call it a night. And so far I've taken down a decent chunk of Mega Valley, but today I've recruited some serious cannon fodder. Friends. I brought some friends along for the ride.
What the bloody hell's hell's going on out here?
Meet the ultimate numpties. No, that's not an insult, that's their channel name. But by the end of this video, you'll probably agree they're appropriately named. All of their socials are linked in the description. They make YouTube content, TikTok, stream on Twitch. Go show the boys some love, a cracking bunch of lads. But for now, we start with me giving a rousing speech to G up the troops.
This is not going to be easy to you, I'm not going to lie.
Yes, sir.
Quite possibly the toughest challenge of State of Decay, and considering one of you have only played the standard mode for 10 minutes, some of you may die, but that is a sacrifice I am willing to make.
Sir Jay, can I just rally the troops ever so slightly? Can I make a speech?
Go for it.
Joe takes his place and gives his own version of a rousing speech.
You know what we've been through on Helldivers? What do we fight for, Terry?
Golf titties.
Damn fucking straight we fight for golf titties. Maddie, how many times have you played this game today?
Once.
Alright, good enough. Now listen here,
Yeah.
Jay may have said this is going to be the hardest challenge of probably your life. But we all know the hardest challenge of your lives right now is to get an erection at the age of almost 30. Am I wrong?
I don't struggle with that.
Yeah. You guys don't struggle?
Yeah.
No.
With that, we head out in the middle of the night, but please let me know whose speech was better in the comment section. Was it my willingness for human sacrifice all in the name of half-decent content, or Joe's ramblings about stiffies and titties? I decided it would be best to start off small and easy with a simple fuel delivery mission. What could go wrong with that? Well, it turns out a considerable amount.
I'm scared. This one's trying to talk to me.
Stranger danger.
Together, the four of us do our bits to fight off the hordes of the undead. Well, I'd say the four of us.
You can think.
You just stood on the fucking car the entire time.
I give the zombie veterans a sack of fuel, then drop the sickest molly throw you've ever seen.
Oh, I missed.
Bad Molly, bad Molly.
It come up short.
Gratefully, my second attempt was much more successful.
Jay.
Yeah?
Jay. Oh, we're just cheering you on, buddy.
Oh, right. Okay. So you literally just waited. Okay. Yep. No worries.
That's a
Now it's time for the biggest baptism of fire since that smoking priest Mr. Holy Water for kerosene. It's time to take on a black plague heart. And it's fair to say things don't go well for anyone involved. And seeing as I'm the one with the heavy weapon, I decide I should be the one fighting the heart while the three boys keep the hordes off me.
So it takes 14 heavy hits like this to get one phase. And we gotta do that 3 times.
Their screams of suffering is almost unlistenable. Then I heard the distinct noise of a combustion engine burst into life.
Are you using my only vehicle right now?
I complete the first phase in record time, then head outside to see the mess.
What the bloody hell's going on out here?
While I'm doing my best to mitigate the disaster, Matty gets annihilated by a blood feral. So I whip out the old assault rifle and get to saving lives. Meanwhile, I notice someone, mentioning no names, has the best seat in the house. The feral turns his attention onto my car, my only car may I add, and while I am able to deal with the feral, things aren't looking good for an escape plan. But that's a problem for the future. And right now I need to hashtag live in the moment. And who'd have thought having 3 pieces of mobile cannon fodder, free friends to help distract the hordes. I almost completely take down the second phase, that is until Matty delivers some devastating news.
Oh yeah, this countdown. Sorry, I didn't see that.
What's your countdown? I got a cure.
24 seconds.
Oh yeah, you're fucked. Yeah, there's not really much point in me trying to fix that, is it?
Matty sadly succumbs to blood plague, something I won't be saying just once in this video. Then a juggernaut makes his appearance known.
Oh, bollocks.
I leg it to the safety of the pharmacy just as Matty spawns back in.
Right, I'm back, but I probably shouldn't be here.
I get a couple more hits onto the heart while Joe tries to talk Matty onto the roof of a car. But as I go back outside, I realise there's more than one juggernaut in the vicinity. And as I climb onto the roof to chill with Terry, Matty gets infected once again.
You got a countdown again? Dude, are you trying to hug the fucking things?
I mean, he hit me. I was on top of the car, but he still hit me.
I quickly complete the second phase of the plague heart, then drop a cure for Matty. And then we both get chased away by a big boy. Although unfortunately, Matty's not the only one who's been infected. I now have to give my final cure to Joe. Terry, on the other hand, is still living life. Me, Joe, and Terry are completely safe on the roof of the pharmacy where the plague heart is. Although we are completely surrounded by the undead, meaning it's not feasible to finish off the final phase. Matty has also found sanctuary, although he's in an old petrol station across the road. So it's time for another one of my strategic master plans.
This might seem harsh,
but every great leader has to make a harsh decision from time to time. And I'm also just figuring out now as I'm doing research for this very joke, that every great leader also has a side project of being a massive So I'm gonna make it my side project to be slightly less cunty than my predecessors, which should be quite simple to do, just don't take part in any kind of genocide and I should be good to go. However, you may occasionally have to work on a Sunday, and sacrifice your firstborn son in the name of Scientology. Anyway, enough ramblings about my future as a cruel dictator. Dictator. I get Matty to climb onto this chemical container where you'll be completely safe, and hopefully have him distract the 4 juggernauts. I get him to make as much noise as possible while I head to deal with the final phase of the play card.
Wait, have you still not done the play card yet?
Oh, I'm sorry. I've been a little bit preoccupied, in all honesty.
Matty does his job well as I get back to the play card completely uninterrupted, but it's not all good news.
Oh, shit. We get it sieged.
So we're gonna have to take this final phase pretty quickly. Joe agrees to come and watch my 6 while I beat this hard sack of meat, but while I'm battering away, Matty spawns right behind me. And it really wasn't a good time for that to happen.
Oh god, this feral! Matty, run! Why did you spawn there? Did you die again?
Sadly, we never got to the bottom as to why Matty respawned next to me, so the tale of the teleporting ginger lives on in State of Decay lore. Most would assume the tether system maxed out due to the limited capabilities of this game's multiplayer, but that's not what I believe happened. I see it as Matty teleporting to me, as him taking one for the team, diving in front of a crack-infused bullet, if you will. What a man. Long live Matty. I go back to bashing the heart, but it's actually residual Molotov damage that gets the final kill. But whatever, good night, you sack of shit.
So, basically what we need to do now is run.
Especially as my base is less than 6 minutes away from being sieged. My plan is to grab the pickup and get Joe and Terry to jump on it from the roof, then go pick up Matty. Unfortunately, 2 fat shits didn't like the sound of that plan. And when I say they didn't like that plan, I mean they really didn't like that plan.
You know what? I think we'll abandon the car and just run back to... Oh no! I got plague! Oh shit. That's not good.
Last time I got an infection from 2 guys that size, I had to be on antibiotics for 2 weeks. And unfortunately, I can't just pop to the local pharmacy. 3.5 minutes remaining. Having given both Joe and Matty the only 2 cures I had on me, I've got to make a dash across country to save Stuart. 3 minutes remaining. We've also got 4.5 minutes until our base gets sieged. But in all honesty, that's not the only problem we're facing.
I have... Oh my god, there's a feral. There's a feral. There's a feral.
There's also a stream around here somewhere. Yeah.
Right, we've got the feral.
The first wave of the siege is gathered at the edge of my base. 2 minutes remaining. I make it through my back door and get to my supply locker. And grabbing my final cure, I put an end to my suffering with 1 minute 50 seconds remaining. However, our problems are far from over. We still need to fight off a siege coming from 3 directions. And the only thing I managed to grab out of the supply locker was a single molly. And, well, that's already been used up. So I'm basically just relying on loud ammunition that'll probably just draw in more. I take out a blood feral, then the rest of its wave. But unfortunately, that was not enough to keep Joe alive, which means I've now killed off 2/3 of a YouTube channel in 15 minutes without a sexual misconduct case or without using a racial slur.
This is only the first wave, by the way.
The chaos that ensues is like nothing I've ever witnessed. The undead flood in from all directions. The fight is long, hard, and seems to have the stamina to last the entire night. Something my missus can only dream of.
Just kill everything.
Yeah,
kill everything you can.
Yeah, take that. Yeah.
Terry, switch character. Yeah, switch character.
Right, all we gotta do is clear out the remaining zombies. We done it, we done it.
Oh, you naive fool. Just clear out the zombies. And just when you thought it couldn't get any worse.
Juggernaut incoming.
Oh no.
That was like a bad oh-no, right?
Yeah, there's a juggernaut incoming apparently.
That was a we're all gonna die
Oh, I
on
see.
that.
There's a bloater. There's a bloater.
I head outside to pop a bloater, which completes the siege.
Go
I
see.
didn't want to brag at all, but I feel like that was all me.
Yeah.
Matty, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you.
Thanks, man.
But now it's very much time to get out of here as we have 4 juggernauts approaching my perimeter fence. So I stick a waypoint onto my landmine protected outpost and get to running, seeing as my only working car was left behind at the pharmacy. But if I'm being honest with you, I probably didn't explain the plan very well to the boys.
Terry, do
Should
not
we all
go
be
there.
panicking?
Don't go there.
I feel like we should be
We
panicking.
should panic. We should panic. We should panic. Do not. No, Terry. No, run this way.
Yeah, I'm sorry boys,
Am I
I've sort
dying?
of abandoned you in some ways.
It's okay. Me and Terry have abandonment issues from our parents. It's fine.
Me and Matty get to the safety of my outpost, but Joe and Terry are nowhere to be seen. But it's fine, I'm sure they're not currently being ripped in two by a pack of juggernauts or something. They're probably alright. Anyway, one of my outposts has become infested, so I leave Matty alone in the landmine field and I go to sort that little bugger out. So I rock up at my spot, a bloaty boy blows in my face and I burn everything alive. And with that sorted, I head back to meet up with the boys. And as I get back, it seems that Matty's been doing a bit of sightseeing.
Did you think like my advice wasn't that good, so you decided to take extra precautions by climbing up the tallest thing you could?
No, I like to explore sometimes. That's all it is.
Then once me and Matty have thoroughly tested out the landmine field,
Oh, there's another get feral! Dodge, Matty!
Ah, Jesus.
Oh, Jesus.
I decide to swap characters to Shannon, seeing as she's the least damaged, although she isn't an athletic queen. Then once the four of us have regathered, I call in a car, and we crack on to attack our next player card. But this time it's the middle of the day, so it's going to be so much easier. After parking up strategically, I explain to the boys the plan. It's the same plan as last time, but hopefully on this occasion it goes considerably better. With the boys in position, I move in and start assaulting the heart, and remember their job is just to keep all the hordes off me, with him being the exception apparently. My unathletic queen quickly runs out of stamina and I head outside to take refuge on the car, just as Terry is being chased away by a blood feral. Thankfully he manages to escape the jaws of death and also make it onto the roof of the car. I take out the blood feral, then crack on inside. And the boys are doing a great job of holding off the hordes from the front, but their backdoor guarding needs a little work. And speaking of work, so too does Shannon's cardiovascular. So I head outside to regain my stamina, but unfortunately we get interrupted by another 4-pack of juggernauts.
Oh, now's time to retreat. Now's time to retreat.
Unfortunately, the feral makes the retreat a little harder. I decide to try and lure them away in order to save the vehicle, which goes well.
Shit! No!
I manage to escape the clutches of death and Joe attempts a rescue mission.
Okay, I'm trying. I'll go. Oh, shit.
Next up is to rescue Terry, but that doesn't go too well as he gets bit.
Reverse. Take him out with the arse. That's it.
And as good as a plan hit and run is, another feral appearing means we've got to abandon Terry for the sake of the group.
Get in!
Oh, God, I think we hit him.
And with 2 juggernauts approaching, we once again got to abandon someone for the second time within 30 seconds.
God, quick. God,
Quick!
what are you doing? Why'd you run past? Matty! Get in! Get the fucking car!
Well, I'm falling through the map.
With Matty now hanging out with Hades, we turn our attention back to Terry, who has contracted blood plague for the first time. And with that going just about as horribly as possible, we're forced to do another retreat back to our landmine field. Although we still have no idea where Matty is. To be honest, I don't even know if he knows where he is. He eventually rejoins the game, and now I feel it's time to head back to base. But there's still 4 juggernauts hanging around the perimeter from earlier this morning, and I'd rather not have a repeat of that siege, so it's time to lure them away with a pickup. Even if Joe did offer to sacrifice himself for the good of the group. And if you're new around here, you won't know this, but I'm perfectly okay with the occasional smidge of human sacrifice given the right time. But seeing as he'd be ripped into almost immediately, then I'd have to use the pickup anyway, it's probably best to save the sacrificial lambs for later. So I lead the juggernauts towards a safe area, then circle back around to enter base from the other side.
I don't know why, but I thought that was a zombie there. I was gonna say kill it.
That's my person.
I take over as Hastings, and seeing as we have the well-oiled machine curveball active, I make a ton of mollies for a much reduced price. We then decide to pay a visit to a wandering trader to see what goodies we can pick up. And I certainly don't risk any of our lives en route.
Whee! How's the breeze back there, Tez?
It's very nice. Very refreshing.
Then as we arrive at one of the potential locations, Joe gets out prematurely and I accidentally back over him with the car. Thankfully, we chose the right spot first time, and I sell Silvio a load of shite. And that's the great thing about wandering traders. They have 2,500 influence, so I can sell them all manner of redundant shite.
Oh, God, Matt, you just closed the door on me.
Sorry. I panicked, okay? I panicked.
Okay.
And as is usually the case in this mod, a simple trip to fulfill our capitalistic needs escalates very quickly. The 4 of us fight hard against the hordes that quickly gather. Well, I say the 4 of us. I've noticed this has started to become a bit of a trend. But don't worry, it's not for long, as we have another horde of juggernauts coming this way. And it seems like they're getting smarter.
Matty, behind you!
They may have flagged Matty, but they've also turned on our getaway vehicle.
Stop it in my car, you pricks! No! That's a brand new one! Oh, honest to God, I've never been more assaulted in my life. This is bad. Oh, shit. Well, the car's on its side, the team's scattered, and I'm carrying a bloody chair in my back pocket. So I'm very heavy right now.
And to make things even worse, a feral's decided to join the fun. Thankfully, I'm able to quickly dispatch him.
It looks like the trader's dead.
Then I realise I'm actually able to flip the vehicle. Just another feature I always forget about.
Oh, green Nick is shit.
Well, at the moment he's being used as a chew toy, so I'd say no. Oh my God, there's 5 juggernauts surrounding Matty.
Not wanting Matty to become that petite blonde girl on the sofa, I attempt another rescue plan.
Jump. In. Oh, God.
Don't let me.
Oh, no. I said I'd never leave a man behind.
I pick up Joe and Terry, then immediately get the car stuck in a ditch.
Oh, that was not smart. This is not good.
Joe doesn't believe I can get us out of this situation and uses his survival instincts to escape. Probably the smartest thing any of us have done all video, to be honest.
There we go, we're out. No, we're not.
Except in defeat, I do something I really didn't want to do, using the radio stuck command. Me and Terry teleport to safety in the car, which completely abandons Joe to deal with those hordes.
I believed and it worked out.
I make my way to go and collect him, but this time I'll make sure to avoid any rocky drainage ditches.
Also, don't want to panic anyone. We're getting low on fuel.
But for now, we need to collect Matthew, who's being chased across a pond by a juggernaut.
Hey, man.
Get in the car.
Matty.
Get in the car.
Oh shit, I've hit him again.
Thankfully, we picked him up right next to a jetty of sorts that we can loot fuel from. So after a quick top up of fuel, we can then make our way over to another trader. This time a wandering trader. We rock up and quickly dispatch any of the knobheads around us.
That's what we need, boys. Working together like a
Yeah, we did really well there.
I'm then finally able to sell all of my shite to the trader. Then I purchase for myself a 50 cal, an AK, and a Hank-on ammo press. I also take this opportunity to collect as many ammo sacks as possible. I then drop the supplies back off at base, and after pinching a toolkit from one of the boys, we head off to take on more play cards. Starting with a little tactic called If I Can Cheat It, guess what I'm gonna fucking do. I park up, making sure to block the only entrance to the play card. Then after struggling to explain to the boys that we're completely safe as long as they follow me,
No zombie can get to us right now.
so we then team up on the big bastard, slicing and dicing as we go.
Yeah, it'll be so much quicker. Look at this. 4 of us. That's 4 boys working together.
But I may have forgot to explain to them what happens when the heart phases.
Now run. Oh god, everyone's on fire.
But unfortunately, the flames are the least of the concerns for one of the team.
I'm sorry, mate. I didn't realise you were that close to death.
But to be fair, I do believe that's the first time he's died in this video, so go in, Terry. We then take down the final 2 phases with no more issues, but unfortunately our exit strategy doesn't go as smoothly.
Oh, bollocks.
The car might have burst into flames, but it's not the end of the world, as I collected a toolkit from the play cart just moments ago. So all we gotta do is deal with this horde nice and quietly, so I have the time to whip out my spanner. Firstly, I tried to lead the hordes around the back of the barn, but while I was dealing with that, Joe had a small interaction with a blood feral. Obviously, I deal with him pretty simply, but those gunshots are just gonna trap more knobheads. I really need to get this car fixed immediately. The car might be fixed, but I can't risk attempting another escape, as if the hordes latch on again, we're seriously screwed. So my plan is to attack the heart next door, which should draw all the zombies to its defense, giving us the time we need to escape. You could say that plan worked out a little too well. I then get to the car and manage to pick up Matty, and at this point you might be wondering where Joe and Terry are. Well, don't worry, they're absolutely fine.
So, boys, I know you're sat on top of the silos, like, loving life and that, but would you like to, like, get the fuck out of here?
I collect the boys, then we head to deal with a siege site, seen as getting sieged every single session. It's starting to get really old, really bloody fast.
So, we need to take care of this orange
I
thing.
know I'm ginger, but come on.
A feral then charges at us from the siege site, and its glitchy attack is extremely effective to say the least. I ditch the car next to the siege site, so hopefully when he explodes, he'll take some of the undead with it. Unfortunately, Matty then dies for what I believe is the 3rd time this video, but taking out this blood feral at least softens the blow a little.
Oh, I just got a grenade launcher.
I then turn my attention to the siege site, blasting one of 2 screamers in the face. I also grab a shotgun and fuel bomb from the play cart husk inside, and immediately use the fuel bomb when a bloater pops in my face. I then take out the final screamer, ending the siege site. I then abandon the boys and run straight back to base, as Hastings isn't exactly in a condition to fight. But don't think bad of me, both Matty and Terry also abandoned Joe, so it looks like we're gonna need another rescue mission. I grab everything I could possibly need, including a toolkit Matty was kind enough to give me, and I head back to try and save Joe. And apparently I created my own theme tune in the process. But gratefully it seems that Joe has actually rescued himself, and it's like, alright, fair enough, you're an independent man who don't need saving, but I needed a damsel in distress story to guarantee me an Oscar. Next time, Joe, don't be so bloody selfish, alright? I then install the handgun ammo press to the workshop and take advantage of the well-oiled machine curveball we have active to craft myself a ton of cheap handgun ammo. I then creep my way back to the pickup and get it repaired, and now finally the squad is in fully working order. Well, from my point of view it is anyway. While I wait for the boys to arm up, I take down another siege site that's formed, then turn the fire truck fueling station around the back into an outpost. I then activate the landmines, which will hopefully help with the sieges, but then Terry delivers some terrifying news.
There's a juggernaut in the base.
What?
A juggy just came through the gate.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
So I rush back with haste, thinking not just the boys, but the entire community is about to be slaughtered by this foul beast. But to be honest, they pretty much sorted the issue before I got there. It's great to see the boys are starting to learn.
He's now one with the game.
We then take a moment to enjoy the little things.
Look at us. Just the boys watching fireworks.
A couple of guys.
Looks like my first time.
Wait, what?
Then with our moment of calmness past, it's time to get back to work. We make our way back to the playground we ran away from earlier in the day, and with the boys acting like walking meat shields, I initiate the assault. And that means with all the undead focused on them, I can very quickly complete the first phase of the playcard. In fact, the second and final phase come just as easy.
Heart is dead, baby.
But that gives me an idea. That was without a doubt the easiest way I've dealt with a black heart. Cheating aside, obviously. So what if I continue to abuse our friendship and use them as further distractions? With that in mind, we head north, as there's 2 plague hearts right next door to each other.
I just realised I did not bring anything.
Back to the base.
Yeah, I've got 1 plague cure and that's it. Any fire? No spit ammo.
Self-proclaimed professional gamer by you, by the way. What an absolute bloody moron. So I head back to base, grab all the shit I need, then head back to the site of the plague hearts. We head in to start our assault and have a little sing-song while we work.
Just a small town.
I was
Lonely world.
The midnight train going
We're attacking this thing?
Yeah.
Anyway, enough of that, as our rendition was so on point, YouTube systems thought we were abusing copyright laws. And I like my ad revenue too much to share it with millionaire knobheads. Anyway, me and Matty batter the sack and successfully complete the first phase. As I sit in the corner waiting for the gases to dissipate, the boys take care of the zombies. Unfortunately, Matty dies once again while I start the second phase, and that's unfortunately his entire community wiped.
I'm trying to keep him distracted with the taunt. Matt, Terry, can you taunt as well over on your side?
Well, boys, I'm be honest, you're doing a fantastic job because there was absolutely nothing around me.
Hey, it's what we do, dude.
And with that, I complete the second phase of the playcard. And with the boys doing such a good job at distraction, it's not too much longer till I end the entire thing. But what were they doing that was doing such a great job at distraction, I hear you ask? Well, it turns out they were just stood on cars screaming dead wanker at all the zombies. Well, if it seems stupid but works, then guess what? It ain't bloody stupid.
Right, I'm going in, boys.
Even if Stuart is bloody shattered. The first phase comes without me seeing a single zombie, and the second phase isn't too far behind.
Did he kill it?
Well, it's done 2 phases.
Okay.
So, you're good, boys. You're good, honestly, right? I've never had teammates as good as you.
You're just saying that.
I feel like I'm saying that.
Well, to be honest, I don't really get teammates very often. People tend not to like me, in all honesty, so. I know. I don't know what it is. Apparently something about my personality, but whatever.
The boys continue doing an excellent job of standing on the cars and distracting, while I take the final blow of the playcard. So now we just need to escape safely, but seeing as the boys are surrounded by like 50 zombies, that could prove to be an issue. So I drive the car over to them, and the undead really couldn't give a shit about me. Oh fuck. Sorry, just had a flashback to my childhood for a second. But don't worry boys, I have a plan to save you, or burn you alive. But they're one of the same.
Once you get a gap, run for it, boys.
They get in the car just in the nick of time to avoid a blood feral. We then circle around the block to collect Matty, who has just created an entire community to rejoin us. But as we're being chased by a horde and ferals, we decide to leave him to the tether system.
So maybe it's a right idea to completely abandon him.
Once we get far enough away, he snaps to our vehicle. But to be honest, I think they've done enough damage, so I kick them out. Then it's back to Hastings, but we have a few issues like triple bloater pack is wandering past my base while I have the high toxicity bloater curveball active. Luckily, I've created a shit ton of mollies in my tasting room. You gotta love the versatility of this facility. Before the apocalypse, that would have been used by rich tourists visiting the region looking to sample the finest wine or whiskey Meager Valley has to offer. These days, it's used by me, pouring petroleum into glass bottles to burn the undead, and occasionally the living, but usually my friends. And this encounter certainly left its mark on the team. With the exception of Rachel, lazy bitch. And learning from my previous mistake, I've decided to start by clearing out this siege site, moving on to these infestations before finally starting our assault on these 2 playcards.
Oh my god, there's 4 juggernauts right there. Oh my god, no, there's 5 juggernauts right there.
So I get in my car and start the engine just as 3 of the fuckers start charging me. But thanks to my world-class reversing skills, I managed to escape with no issue. I'm sure we'll never be hearing from those juggernauts ever again. I can clear out the siege site with no issue, simply headshotting the screamer. But just as I'm trying to make my escape, I then get jumped by a 4-pack of blood ferals. Yes, 4 of the bastards trying to munch on my thick cheeks. Thankfully, I've got enough paracetamol and caffeine to keep me going, but that plague bar's creeped up very quickly.
No! You gotta close the door with you on the other side of it, you prick.
Then with the 4 ferals hot on my tail, I run back to the passenger side of my vehicle and get in.
That might be the smartest thing I've ever done in my life.
I can then make my escape before the ferals rip me out or destroy the vehicle.
Holy shit, I thought that might have been the end then.
I then decide to ignore my earlier plan of tackling the infestations and just crack on straight to the playcards. Although admittedly I should have parked my car more strategically. That is some very dark smoke, and almost certainly not enough fuel to get home. But before we can even think about escaping, we've got a victory to claim. That is is until the inevitable happens.
Oh no, my shaft is yellow. It's not a shaft, it's fine. I don't know what you'd call it, but
After dodging my way around the room for 5, I drop out and drop a terrible molly.
yep, that's it. Okay, Hastings is on fire.
Although in all honesty, that molly throw wasn't as bad as I first thought, as it's done a fantastic job of clearing the undead.
Did I just hear feral? Yes, I did.
And it turns out that feral is actually a bit of a knobhead.
Okay, I am almost infected.
And not wanting to waste my final energy drink, I retreat to the car and kill the crackhead from there, before charging back into the belly of the beast, and it seems Hastings is really enjoying herself.
Yeah, I know you do, you psycho.
My torch then glitches out, giving the zombies a chance for a dirty blow. A dirty blow where afterwards I have to inject myself with special medicine? Can't relate. Anyway, Hastings escapes with her life, but only a third of her eyebrows. But what makes things even worse is we're now completely out of stamina items, and I haven't even made a dent in this play cart. So I go another round of battering strangers' sacks before dipping out as my stamina gets too low, but don't worry, before I do I drop yet another Molotov. I then retreat to safety to allow my stamina to regain, and I start to come up with the foundations of a groundbreaking new plan. With another heart being so close to this one and there being a ridiculous amount of zombies surrounding me, I decide to run to the other heart thanks to Hastings' impressive cardiovascular. This should help spread out the undead and hopefully result in me getting infected less often. So I run in and get 4 full power heavy hits on it before the undead catch up to me, just another 10 to go before I complete the phase. Unfortunately, a feral has also followed me, so I lead it outside to appropriately deal with it. Being a speedy gal, we can temporarily lose the pursuers before getting several more hits in, although to save time these weren't full power hits. The undead then catch me, so I set them on fire before retreating.
Come on, spread the flames, baby. Alright, that was a terrible molly, chat. That was terrible molly. It's so uncharacteristically unlike me to waste Molotovs.
Another crackhead fancies sipping my spinal fluid, so I once again lead it outside, but the hordes from the previous heart have finally caught up to me. We then have a little back and forth before I down the bastard, but it turns out he wasn't alone and brought his 2 older brothers.
I need something to climb onto. Can they climb onto the crate? I don't know. We're about to find out.
But to be honest, that's only if we get there.
Oh shit, this is not good, chat. Yep, this is not good. This is not good. This is not good.
Hastings manages to scramble away from the now 3 blood ferals with next to fuck all health remaining.
Please say they can't climb up onto these. Please say they can't.
For now, it seems we're safe, although still low on health, and I've just taken my last painkiller. Thankfully, the one thing I do have in abundance is ammunition. Although it turns out that single feral, which turned into a double, which turned into a triple, is now a 4-pack. And I thought inflation in real life was bad enough. I can then hop down and make a break for it. And I decide now's probably the time to retreat. No stamina items, no healables, no plague cure, also pretty much no fuel, but unbelievably I have just enough to get me back home.
Yeah, look at that, chat. That couldn't have been more perfectly timed if I wanted to.
With Hastings back home, I decide she's earned a rest, but Rachel disagrees.
Sure, any of this is working out the way we hoped.
Alright, love, fucking don't be a prick, is it? I can then swap to Stuart, who's in a considerably better condition. We can then head out in the middle of the night to do some looting, and I've only got 2 things on my mind: toolkits and building materials. But first I gotta deal with another quad pack of crackheads. And thankfully I've still got landmine set on my most recent outpost. But even so, things definitely could have gone smoother.
Oh, I'm on fire! Shit in hell!
My looting quest then takes me to a nearby barn, and once Stuart has showed off her very impressive fighting skills, she finds precisely fuck all. So I try move into the fuel pumps next door, but have to fight off another horde of purple-eyed bastards. These zombies have terrible eyesight, but cracking hearing. Not great when you're a loud lass like we are. I'm rewarded for my efforts with some alcohol and a couple of jerry cans.
Oh, bloody Nora. There's another horde. Look at the size of that fucker.
So it's time to get out of here before they cause an even bigger nuisance. But on my way to raid someone's shed, I notice a neutral enclave and decide to see if they have anything worth buying.
Even though they hate me because I didn't get a cure, you know, maybe one of their people might have died or something.
God, what a bunch of drama queens, isn't it? Unfortunately, they don't have any toolkits, but they do have 3 sacks of building materials. Well, I'll be taking them off your hands, thank you very much. Then leaving the heavily damaged car behind, I run to the earlier mentioned shed and find more building materials, a molly and some fireworks.
You never know. You never know when a firework could come in handy. Now we head back to that enclave. I got snacks. I got 8 snacks. Jesus Christ. What a hungry girl.
We then kinda lead a horde back to the neutrals, and I take a breather on my pickup.
Can you stop shooting my car? If this car blows up and I'm trapped here, I'm threatening this enclave and murdering them all. Every single one of them.
While they deal with the problem I caused, I set sights onto my next destination. Then it's time to leave. I guess I'll see you later, boys. Although I do arrive rather loud at my next destination. What can I say? I've got no regard for fence maintenance. So I get into a little fight before deciding that burning them alive is definitely the more efficient way. But sadly, there are some things you can't burn alive. Motherfucking crackheads. With that gunshot being loud, we gotta move quick. So I quickly grab the sack of building materials from the shed and get the hell out. But in that process, I may have caused a smidge too much damage to my pickup. Ah, fuck it. I'm sure driving a car that's partially on fire won't cause any issues. I then head back and unload all of my spoils, then start upgrading our command center to level 3. That additional outpost will certainly help towards my master plan. I also noticed we're getting low on food, so I enact rationing to sort out that issue. Yes, we're gonna take a hit on the morale, but you know, it is what it is. I then take over as bootleg and head out to do some more looting. Extremely bloody carefully, may I add. Starting where we were at previously with the ultimate numpties.
What the bloody hell's going on out here?
So after dealing with a few locals, I loot the dead heart and collect some meds from the pharmacy. I then chat to the zombie veterans and they're like, you need to go and meet the new guys in town, what a bunch of dorks. They're called the Selective Scavengers and they've set up camp well into plague territory. The house hunters are also looking for assistance, but who gives a fuck about them? And rather surprisingly, I make the treacherous trip across town without blowing up my pickup. I introduce myself to their leader Heather and she seems lovely, although they do seem weirdly proud of the sacks of mysterious meat they're selling. And it's like, boys, for the love of God, stay humble, will you? We've all ate at McDonald's. We then decide to stretch our legs for a bit and climb a nearby cell tower, and after a quick scout about, I find some firecrackers and decide it would be really funny to prank our new friends. I can then get out of there giggling at how hilarious I am. Unfortunately, one of our outposts have become infested, so I've got to sort that out. But on the way past, I decide to push my luck and try to loot the auto shop in the nearby town. I find a toolkit no problems, but unfortunately don't get the chance to repair the pickup. I then get caught slipping while browsing the menus.
Oh god, not ideal.
No, that most definitely isn't ideal.
Oh man!
The car then detonates, but the explosion gratefully doesn't attract a nearby horde. So I can quickly repair it, then head to my infested outpost, which goes well.
Oh Jesus Christ!
A Molly clears the infestation, but I'm not best pleased.
Fucking hell, come on, that is some bullshit there.
Well, I think it's probably time to head back to base. But first I decide to pay a visit to my friends, and I'm glad I did as they had a toolkit for sale. They also wanted a hand moving base, and I'm like, yeah, alright, I'll see what I can do. But for now I drift back to base and unload my goodies, before taking over as Hastings, who's chilling in the brewery. And Hastings has some retribution to earn. She was made to look like a proper mug by those two plague arts and all their feral friends. It's time for some revenge. But first she decides to clear out a new base for the snack scavengers, which she does by simply not even entering the building. What can I say, it's a special ability when you can clear a room without even entering it. But now I do have to deal with an unfortunate crackhead, which of course I do, but at what cost? Shit. And seeing as I'm here, I also decide to take out a siege site. Let's be honest, the last thing I want right now is my base being overrun with the undead and everybody dying horrifically. And with that, it's time to head back to the play cards. And you'll be glad to know this time I brought my strategic cap and I'll be parking appropriately. But it's fair to say we don't get off to a great start.
Oh no, Jesus Christ!
So I set everything on fire as I escape, then get jumped by another crackhead. I suppose that's the joys of fighting a play cart that's right next to an infestation. But I'll always take that loot, thank you very much, my friend. Then unfortunately a bloater pops in my face and everything goes horribly.
Oh my god, no!
That bite just reduces my play count down even more. But gratefully we managed to escape. That is until Hastings collapses.
No! No! Not like this! No! Hastings! Get the fuck up!
If anyone tells you button bashing doesn't work, they're lying to you, because I hit that button harder than an MMA fighter hits their misses.
Oh my god. What the absolute shit? What the fuck was that?
Well, I think the comment section will probably describe it as a skill issue, but let's face it, we all know the truth. The zombies are just dirty, cheating stream snipers. The hordes as well as another crackhead push me further and further away from the play cart. So once I've dealt with Susan the meth head, I adjust tactics and attack the second heart. Thankfully, I get a bit more time than I was expecting and actually complete the first phase.
Now back to the other one, and we're gonna do that repeatedly until it's dead. Oh, there's a juggy boy. He better not touch my car, I swear to God. I've only just repaired it.
Thankfully, for now at least, he's not interested in my vehicle. He's just banging on the front door like his missus has kicked him out. So I go back to heavy hitting, but once again get caught short.
Oh, you twat.
But rather surprisingly, the hordes take a little while to catch me, so I do plenty of damage, but don't quite complete the phase before I have to drop out.
Yeah, probably. Oh God, was that a bloater? It was! How did that bloater not pop? I have no idea.
I then pop a crackhead from distance before having to run from two juggernauts. But at least juggernauts can't enter the building, so I run back in and start battering. But at least I would if I didn't get interrupted by yet another crackhead. I can again deal with it before having to do more damage to the heart, but I get overwhelmed pretty quickly and have to retreat back to the other. But on the short 100-meter trek, guess what? I've got to deal with another crackhead. Honestly, I think I might have faced less ferals when I completed the entire game when all of the zombies were blood ferals. And that was actually a really good video, I really enjoyed it, go check check it out if you haven't done so already. I go back into the warehouse and get a good 4 or 5 heavy hits in before the hordes catch up to me. Then I make the mistake of setting fire to my escape route. Ah well, it doesn't matter, the eyebrows hadn't grown back from the last time Hastings had burned herself. With the hordes out of control, I decide to retreat back, and I still don't get a chance to phase this plague heart, but it's gotta be getting close. As the room gets overpopulated, I drop a molly and dip, and decide now's a good time to go and attack the other heart. First I've gotta clear the room, but I don't get much time with the heart as I'm interrupted once again by a motherfucking blood feral. I lead it into the open before dropping it, but as I'm dealing with a screamer, disaster strikes. Don't think so. Oh no! So I use up my final cure, but when I inevitably get bit again, it's time for a tactical retreat as I'm completely out of healables. And also dying out of my arse. So we get back to base, take a medit kit, and sort out our infection with infection therapy before stocking up with resources and getting back out there. And this time I park up even more strategically. I then run in and kill the heart with 3 more heavy swings, which means I've missed both times when this heart is phased. You wouldn't believe this is actually my full-time job. What a bloody moron. Time to get back to the other heart. And providing I've counted correctly, this should have 2 phases remaining. I get a few more heavy swings in before having to fight off a plague feral, which results in Hastings being thrown around like a ragdoll, and it's like, Christ's sake, but at least buy me dinner first. It's fair to say I then go a bit mental, blasting with my rifle, dropping multiple mollies before having to tactically throw myself out of the window. I lead the hordes to the billboard and climb on up, before throwing myself off and charging back in. And after many more hits, we finally complete the second phase. Just one more phase remaining, so I try to lure them all away from the plague heart, which works pretty well for the most part, but unfortunately there's always a few dickheads loitering about. Well, it's a good thing Hastings has the quickest fingers in the apocalypse. I guess that's what happens when you've been single for such a long time. I trade blows, set everything on fire, but eventually the heart falls. And with that we can head back after a successful day. 2 more black hearts are down, bringing our total up to 19 out of the 72. We have a pickup full of loot from the hearts, and now we can relax and enjoy the victory. If only that were true. Once back, we swap to Stuart, and I'm just glad we had time to grab some resources. Because what comes next will send shivers down your spine. She goes to investigate some noise coming around back, and she's horrified by what she discovers.
Juggernaut's in the base, ladies and gentlemen. Juggernaut's in the base.
But there's not just one Juggernaut, there's a horde of them. Thinking on my feet, I grab a 50 cal from the supply locker. It might only have 3 bullets, but it's better than nothing. And while working as a team, we can quickly deal with the first Juggernaut, but there are at least 3 more bashing through our back doors. I put my 2 remaining rounds into another jug from across the base, before switching to my second surprise, the motherfucking grenade launcher, baby. But unfortunately, that was the only round I had, which is a shame, as a second horde led by a crackhead is also penetrating our perimeter. So I grab my final 8 mollies and get to burning.
I know what you're gonna say. Oh, they don't do anything. Oh god, there's no ammo in that. Right, that's not good. Get the jugs, get the jugs. The jugs are the major thing right now.
Thankfully, the majority of the team are packing heavy weaponry and can make the big boys drop a knee. And that's when I make our first horrifying discovery.
Oh no, someone's dead. It didn't pop up, but someone is dead. I can see it on the thing. Who is dead?
Shannon is the first to go, but sadly not the last. Rachel has also contracted blood plague, but that's not where the bad news stops.
No! Not Hastings as well!
Hastings had been a vital member of the team. Maneuvering between her and Stuart was the only reason we've made it this far. She survived an entire map of blood ferals, but couldn't survive no man's land. Rest well, Queen. You most definitely deserve it. I wish I could say this is where the bloodshed stops, but it's only just beginning. Rachel has now succumbed to her infection, leaving just Stuart and Bootleg to carry on. But being so close to blood plague, there's only one thing Stuart can do, and that's abandon her remaining ally, making her way to the fire station, which thankfully still has landmines active. And unfortunately, Bootleg was never seen again, but I'm assuming he made for a tasty treat for a Juggernaut. And with the undead still festering in her home, the best way Stuart has to deal with them is to lure them all to the outpost and let the landmines deal with them. But with them cleared, she is now one lonely girl. The community is all but finished and her mission is in tatters. Although perhaps not all hope is lost. With an excessive amount of prestige, she pleads with her Red Talon overlords for their assistance. Their reply is cold, calculated, but unexpected. She's told she has a single hour, and for every single black heart she takes down, she will be granted 1 new recruit. Clock's ticking, Stuart. Better get to it. Once we've picked out a suitable location to get to it, I slap on a medikit and use infection therapy to remove any semblance of infection. I use the tasting room to craft as many mollies as I can, and use the infirmary to craft myself a bulk of plague cure. And once we and our car are fully loaded with everything we could possibly need, we set off on what could very well be our final ever mission into no man's land. And we are fully stocked and loaded. We have mollies for the hordes, bullets for the freaks, cure for the inevitable infection, coffee for the inevitable fatigue. All we're missing missing is a partridge in a fucking pear tree. There can be no excuses. We have sacrificed our long-term security to ensure that we have every chance that this mission will be a success. And seeing as there are no hordes wandering through our battle zone, I start off in silence, sneaking through the medical center and eliminating any threats before we make a start. And just as I start off our assault, we have just under 58 minutes left. It takes 14 full power heavy swings to complete the first phase, and I get 7 in before the hordes can even get close to me. But here's the second caveat. I'm currently relying on snacks to refill my stamina, as I've only got 2 stimulants and 0 energy drinks. So I'm going to need to take down a heart and use its loot to keep my lungs going strong. Rather predictably, the hordes get too much, so I don't complete the first phase, and the molly I dropped barely touched the sides. So I attempt to lead the hordes far away from the medical center before charging back around the front.
Stim 1 is active, ladies and gentlemen. Stim 1 is active.
So I turn my attention to the heart next door, however the camera angle screws me.
I can't see anything. Oh god. No, that's not good. That's not good.
Thankfully I can escape and drop a molly over my shoulder. But I'd say that's not a great start, as we're already a third of the way to infected, and I'm wasting time when my stimulant is active. Gratefully I can charge back into the medical center and do some wild swinging that won't put my marriage at risk. And with the correct timing, I complete the first phase while also keeping the undead from munching on Stuart's ovaries. I can then hop through the window and drop a sick roly-poly on our first crackhead of the day. I obliterate him with my sidearm shotgun, then run into the supermarket to get a few more hits on that heart before dipping out and dropping a volley, which definitely didn't singe anybody's eyebrows. Then, completely ignoring the fact massive hordes are storming towards the medical center, I still charge in and attempt a few hits, which goes probably about as well as you'd expect.
I'm sacrificing health here to try and clear all of the zombies.
And surprisingly, this actually gives me the room I needed to get another 7 heavy hits on the heart, although as always is the case, I get greedy.
Shit.
And in all the chaos, I've used up my second stimulant, so our stamina has completely collapsed. So I climb onto an abandoned car and come up with a new plan.
Recover health. Find Feral. Murderize said Feral. There he is.
I then charge back into the supermarket, but it doesn't take long until disaster strikes.
Okay. Oh, shit in hell. Right, we got our first plague.
So time for a sit rep. We have 52 minutes remaining, we've used all our stimulants, we have 4 cures left, and I've set myself on fire a record-breaking amount of times. Even for me. So I do another round of dodging and smacking before roly-polying out without even setting myself on fire. Finally, we're making progress. Although admittedly that progress is slow, as without a reliable way to refill my stamina bar, I'm forced to retreat back to the car more times than I care to admit. With 51 minutes on the clock, I take the second phase of the supermarket heart. Then with 49 left, I move on to the still sleeping heart inside the ice cream shop. But before I get a chance to wake it, I first gotta deal with a crackhead. And now with the back door swung wide open and a bunch of strangers pile driving their way through, that reminds me, how is your mother doing, by the way? So I head next door and start assaulting that one instead, and we've got a horde at the front door being held off with glass, and hordes at the back being held off with a single door. And with that thought, I start to develop my strategy. But first, I think the madness is starting to get to me.
Run, run, run as fast as you can. You can't catch me because I'm the ginger-bearded man. Ha 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 ha. Where are you, feral scum? That's not a feral. I just shot the wrong thing. I do apologise.
And moving swiftly on before I compare myself to American law enforcement. I head back into the supermarket and get several hits in before the undead catch up to me. And seeing as I've used up all of my paracetamol, I've got to be extra careful about managing my health. And this is where my strategy takes even more evolution. There's nothing I can do about the amount of zombies. If I kill one more will spawn in its place. It's all about giving me as much time as possible to be alone with the plague hearts. One way I'm doing this is by taking the less direct route into buildings, so when the hordes follow me, they only have one entrance to attack from. My 5.7 female demographic will be able to relate. Lads, it's all about slowing the flow. Anyway, this heart completes its second phase thanks to residual molly damage with 47 minutes remaining.
I don't really want to be killing that many zombies, because I think by having this many zombies spawn, it should help prevent freaks from spawning. Maybe. We're going to find out one way or another.
My next move is to head back to the row of shops, making sure to make my entrance through the back of the building so the undead are forced to come through a single entrance. Doing that means I'm able to almost complete the first phase by the time they burst through the back door. But I always like to make things harder than they need to be.
Nope, you gotta close this door. You gotta close doors when you're on the other side of them. You should know this by now.
With all the Zeds now filtering through Dewey's hardware, I loop around the back and complete its first phase. And as is the case, I get a bit too greedy and stay a smidge longer than I needed.
Yep, not ideal, not ideal.
You'd think I'd have learnt my lesson considering I'm all out of healables. Well, actually not quite. At this point, I'd completely forgotten I got a medikit in the back of with the pickup. But anyway, once again, I get multiple heavy hits onto the heart, almost completing its first phase, proving once and for all the backdoor strat works. I climb onto a car out the front and blast my shotty to draw them all to this side, then rush back to the pickup to grab the medikit. Lovely stuff. But as I move back into the supermarket, Stuart starts to get sleepy. Well, there's no time for sleep, love. We've got 42 minutes to save the community, and so far we haven't taken down a single heart. Snort some espresso and get to bloody work.
Again, this is strategic, right? I want to make as much noise as possible. Draw all the hordes from there over to here, and then I can run back and forth.
And after that, I loop around the backside of the medical centre, sporadically firing the shotgun to draw them away from the row of shops. And most importantly, after that big loop, all the Zeds are behind me. Except for this crackhead, of course. But fuck him, he's weak to buckshot. Fighting that feral admittedly put me off course a smidge, as I was aiming for the hardware store. But even so, things worked out pretty well as I complete the first phase of the City laundry. I'm then granted with 20 seconds of alone time with the play cart in the supermarket, before escaping and finishing off our first heart in the medical centre. And it only took me the best part of 20 minutes. But my timer right now is not important. What matters is the end result. Abraham Lincoln once famously tweeted, "If you give me 3 hours to cut down that bastard tree, I'll spend the first hour and a half sharpening the axe I'll be twatting it with." And let me tell you right now, my axe is sharp enough to cut through the densest material known to man. The skull of an Andrew Tate stan.
We have 37 minutes left. The sun has started to rise.
After luring all the hordes away, it's time to collect my reward. Sadly though, for stamina items, I'm only rewarded with snacks, which is a bit like asking for a happy ending at a massage parlour and then putting on a Disney film. I then sneak back to City Laundry and get a few more hits in before the hordes catch up to me.
We got this, ladies and gentlemen. I'm telling you right now for a bloody fact.
The fatigue is starting to catch up to me, so I try taking a coffee from the pickup.
Oh, you won't even take a coffee. You won't take an espresso. What's the bloody point of you, Stuart, love?
Apparently, she's really concerned about her daily caffeine intake all of a sudden, even though previously she's been popping stimulants like the Skittles. I get a few hits in the ice cream shop before it's time to melt Ben and Jerry. But the problem I'm dealing with right now is the hordes aren't all grouped together, they're more in a follow the leader type pattern, and that's starting to make progress really difficult as they're always really close to any heart I'm targeting. I need a new plan. 33 minutes remaining. Well, I say a new plan, it's kinda like when Disney release a new movie. More of the same shite, just with a different label. But hey, you gotta do what you gotta do to get the results you need. For Disney, it's trying to gain an extra billion with second-rate shite. For me, it's herding massive hordes of the undead. We are not the same. Anyway, I get another 20 seconds along with a play cart, which doesn't quite phase it, but it's gotta be getting close. Although I'm more concerned with how fast my stamina is draining. I need to take down another heart and hopefully get some decent stamina items. So I turn my attention to the supermarket, but get drawn into a fight with a crackhead, so I don't get as much time as I'd like beating the meat. But at least those unsuppressed gunshots have maneuvered the hordes for me. I complete the next phase of the supermarket with 29 minutes left, then the City Laundry less than a minute later. But fatigue is starting to become a really big issue. I'd really need this espresso to run out so I can take the next one. I can then get an unbelievable 30 seconds alone in the supermarket and complete a full 15 power swings, which should have been enough to finish it off, so somewhere along the lines my maths just hasn't worked out at all. I then deal with another feral before heading inside the medical centre and breaking open the food sack for some snacks. Certainly not the best thing, but when needs must, you wallow in shit. After a few more roly-polies, I take down a crackhead.
There you go. Good night, sweet blood feral.
Then Stuart complains about the state of the infestation.
This many infestations puts us at serious risk.
Oh, love, you don't need to worry about infestations. Of all the things to worry about.
I give a few more hits in Dewey's hardware before moving into the ice cream shop, where we complete the phase at the perfect time.
Yes, yes, yes! That phase is gonna set them all on fire. This was a tactical masterstroke on my behalf.
I then finally get enough time in the supermarket to kill the play cart, and for all of my effort I'm granted with more piss and snacks. But hey, at least I got a medikit and shells for my shotgun, so time for another sit rep. We have 23 minutes remaining with 2 play carts taken care of. We are shattered and almost completely infected. On paper it looks like we're in a really bad way, but we've been putting in the groundwork. We can take on the next 3 with ease, and instantaneously we are rewarded for our efforts with another phase in Dewey's hardware.
We got 2, which means the run will go on providing Stuart survives. She just needs to survive another 23 minutes. Hopefully take out, you know what, I have a thing. I think we might take out another 2, you know.
And this is where my strategy takes another evolution. Something that would have made things so much easier like 35 minutes ago. Blasting the legs off the undead with my high-powered rifle.
Oh man, I love high-powered weapons.
This will mean most of the zombies will be slower and unable to open doors, while also not allowing any more to spawn if we've hit the max the game can. Unfortunately, there's nothing I can do about the freaks I spawn.
Oh god, no!
So we are infected for the second time on this mission, and to be honest, I'm just surprised it hasn't been more. Gratefully, I managed to avoid any more feral attacks, snacks and heal with a plague cure.
This is why we brought multiple cures.
I downed the crackhead, then take enough limbs to be qualified to work for the Saudi government. And to make things even more interesting, a Juggernaut has joined the party.
Right, there's the Juggy boy. Do not touch my car, you fat bastard. I'm sorry if any fat bastards are offended. Other weight classes are available.
But Juggernauts can't get inside buildings, so that's another heart ticked off our list. And we still have 19 minutes remaining. Unfortunately, I've used all but one bullet on the undead kneecaps, but it's alright, I brought some spares. Then it's back to removing legs like I designed roller coasters for Alton Towers. I almost finished the Sud City laundry before the undead burst in, just short of the final blow. And unfortunately, my shaft has now turned yellow. And as previously discussed, nobody's shaft should be that shit. I then loot the heart in the hardware store, praying for some bloody stimulants, but no. All we get is more piss and snacks. But I'm sure I'll put those fuel bombs to good use. Like immediately next door in the ice cream shop. And while the flames do their thing, is back to Sud City Laundry.
Hi mate, don't mind. I'm just gonna close this door. Nice one.
And just one more swing claims that placard. And surely this time I'll get some stimulant. No, still bloody snacks. If only I was sponsored by Fridge Raiders, this would be an excellent segue. And with that, we've taken down 4 black placards and only have one last phase on one more. And still we have 14 minutes remaining. But if you think that last phase is gonna be easy, think again. 3 more Juggernauts have joined the party, taking our big boy count up to 4. And it's gonna be a lot harder to move the hordes about when there's only 1 placard remaining.
I'm not necessarily trying to kill them, by the way. I'm just trying to draw them far away from where I need them.
And you know what will add an extra layer of difficulty? A triple pack of crackheads. All while having no stamina. The abundance of quavers I've collected from placards gives me enough energy to at least escape for now.
I might need to climb onto something here. Something that a Juggernaut can't reach, at least.
You can tell things are starting to get desperate when I sound like I'm straining to push out a turd.
Whoo! This is squeaky bum time.
I desperately tried to lose them by double hopping over walls, and that gives me enough time to fire off 2 headshots. But that hasn't even taken down the armor, so I decide to climb up the nearest ladder for safety. But that might have been a terrible idea, as I'm now completely trapped up here. I've got no way of healing, and my fatigue is still rapidly declining. We have taken down 4 of the 5 hearts I had aimed for, so that's an extra 4 rare talons we can recruit to the community. But that means absolutely nothing if we can't escape this rooftop. 12 minutes remaining. Thankfully, I do still have plenty of ammo, so take the next few minutes slowly chipping away at the Feral's head armor before slinging myself off the other side of the roof. And with boots well and truly firmly on the ground, I take care of what I hope to be the final crackhead.
I've just come into the wrong building. It's a bad idea, that, to be honest, in all honesty, chat. Do not come into the wrong building.
The better advice would be not to come into the wrong anything. But at least I managed to break open a fuel resack to get 2 mollies. Not that I've used up the last of my ignition sources, but you can never have too much, I guess. Speaking of fire, I dropped some more in the ice cream shop. And for once, I don't mean my lyrical abilities. Then it's back to trimming more toenails just a little bit too close, which goes well.
Don't touch the car. Don't touch the car. Shit, I've just drawn him right towards the car. Do not take it out on my car, you fat fucks.
I then realised my espresso's been run out for about 5 minutes, so have a cup of coffee. I'm then completely left alone in the ice cream shop for another 30 seconds, but unfortunately don't quite get the win. But I know the bastard's gotta be getting close, so I decide to leg it, in the loosest possible sense of the word, back to the supermarket, where I hang out for 5 before heading back towards the heart, but the building is slightly over capacity, and that's a fire risk. A Juggernaut then chases me down as my stamina is empty and I'm inches away from blood plague. His feet echoing through my nightmares as he gets closer, and I can feel him breathing down my neck. Whoa, talk about being a speedy girl. See, chat, that's just who I am. I've just... Oh, for fuck's sake.
That's fine. We got another three cures.
Well, now it's technically 2. I then charge back into the ice cream shop with 6 minutes remaining. Juggernaut trying to glitch through the door, but even that won't stop me now.
Yes! We've done it! That's 5 hearts, chat. That's 5 hearts. I just, like, you know what? I'll take 5. I will take 5. I just need to get out here now. Get out. I think if I get out here with my heart held high, I'll be alright.
I even get plenty of time to loot the thing. And it's a good thing I got a toolkit out of it, as it looks like the Juggernauts have been playing with my pickup. And it doesn't look like they're done with the toy just yet.
Nope. 6 minutes remaining. I just took down 5 hearts in 54 minutes, chat. I can't take that anymore, there's no point.
And with Stuart's victory in the record books, there's only one thing remaining to do: cash in our rewards. First up, please welcome Jeffrey Dow to the organisation. He's a logistical lad, which is handy as we aren't exactly logical, which is proven right away when I try to reverse over a crackhead and he instantly one-shots my car. Don't worry, Jeffrey, everything's under control. Wait, what are you doing? Get back here. It seems Jeffrey isn't a team player. Well, it's a good thing I am. On second thought, that single blood fell has turned into 5. I instantly get dropped and lose life large chunks of my health, as well as become a whisker away from blood plague. Alright, so it looks like it's every woman for themselves. I'll see you later, Jeffrey. I'm sure you'll be alright, but... Ah, for fuck's sake, not again!
Get to the car, get to the car. Screw the other guy, screw the other guy.
I climb onto my detonated car and jab myself with a cure, but unfortunately I wasn't the only one infected. I am very sorry, Mr. Dow. Is there any chance Red Talon have a money back guarantee if the person you just purchased doesn't make it back home? Unfortunately, I seem to have misplaced the receipt, so decide the best bet is to abandon him and head to the safety of my nearby outpost that still has landmines active. But I still tried to save him, even if that results in a feral hanging from my throat, then exploding on top of me.
Come on, Dow. Make it you, son. Make it you.
Another crackhead can't decide between the two of us and results in him blowing up, which sets fire to Dow, which quickly spreads onto me.
Back up. Get up, get up, get up, get up, get up. Aid, blood plague, victim, give cure. Oh my...
Genuinely, how did I... Well, talk about a warm welcome. It's fair to say I don't think we need to test Dow any further. He's definitely qualified to be a member of the team. Thankfully, Dow being logistics means he came prepared with 3 toolkits. Although it's night time by the time I do eventually get back to the car. We then make our way to collect our second new member of the team. Please welcome Abrams the Gut Packer. And thankfully, we don't have any problems getting him home. In fact, we don't have any problems getting anyone else home. Shit, maybe Dow's just cursed. So please welcome our new recruits. Stuart has shifted allegiances from capitalist pig to law enforcement. Enforcement being the key word there. She's also done a bit of a rebrand. Introducing Rose. She's a hacking machine, Virgil Guards and Skip Bootcamp. Gotta love a bad girl. Then there's Abrams, a gut packing veteran who also enjoys cooking a Sunday roast. Then there's Rotsack, but don't worry, I've been reliably informed, it's not. He's big on infrastructure and also a diehard veteran. We've also got Farsight, a former leader who's big on fixing shit. And last but certainly not least is Dow, survivor of ferals and landmines. He's massively into running and has massive OCD. And here they are in all their glory. You're cleaning up the nation team, who will be sorting out no man's land. Next time we'll be fortifying our base as well as clearing the entire west side of the river. With 25 of the 72 hearts taken care of, that signifies the end of chapter 1 of No Man's Land. This series shall be taking a short break while I work on some exciting projects, but don't worry, it will be back with a vengeance as well as plenty more content in the meantime. Thank you so much for watching, like the video, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.